Li Mei's Sword of Destiny. Chapter 1061. Emperor Yu smiled as he walked over. There were two other people beside him, all of them exuding an unfathomable aura. This caused the eyes of the immortal emperors to flash. The cultivation bases of these two were also extremely high. Since everyone is here to pay a visit, I'm not allowed to put on airs? Since this is the case, why did you come here? Emperor Yu smiled as he stared at Zidi. His tone was calm, exuding a transcendent aura, without a hint of anger in it. Zidi's eyes flashed with violet light, exuding a terrifying might. If it was an ordinary character with a lower cultivation base, they would have no choice but to submit under his gaze. Humph, Zidi coldly snorted. Emperor Yu didn't mind it at all. He turned his gaze to the immortal emperors and spoke, "If there's anyone who doesn't like the airs of an old man like me, feel free to leave. I won't beg any of you." Senior Emperor, you must be joking. No matter what, when Senior Emperor you became famous, I was still very young. Nanfeng Guhong smiled, her tone extremely polite. The fairies of the Namhuang clan really know how to talk. Emperor Yu nodded lightly to Nanfeng Guhong. I know that everyone received the news and came here for the secret art of Transcendent Emperor Yi God's Hand. Back then, Senior Emperor Yi relied on this secret art to dominate the immortal realms. After that, the secret art was lost, and there was no more God's hand in the immortal realms. Since everyone is here, I believe you all won't leave until you see it. I won't hide this from everyone. The secret art of ancient Emperor Yi is with me. I, Emperor Yu, am the protector of this secret art. The eyes of everyone flashed. They didn't expect Emperor Yu to admit it so readily. However, just like what Emperor Yu has said, with so many immortal emperors here, if Emperor Yu didn't give a satisfactory answer, these immortal emperors wouldn't leave so easily. At this moment, the experts in the manor all fell silent. They stared at Emperor Yu, waiting for him to continue speaking. There are many immortal emperors here. As immortal emperors, all of you have clearly cultivated your own secret arts and techniques for many years. You should know how difficult it is to cultivate a powerful secret art. The more you want to cultivate it to the peak, the more time you need to accumulate your foundation. Right now, even if all of you immortal emperors obtained the secret art of God's hand and changed your cultivation path, would it be able to surpass the supreme innate techniques you cultivated? As expected, Emperor Yu continued to speak. I'm afraid that might not be the case. In any case, let me say something unpleasant to the ears. Because your astral souls are different, all of you are proficient in different domains and have already reached a certain level in a certain domain. As for God's hand, it is a secret art that is completely different from the energy you all cultivate. Even if God's hand is placed before your eyes, I'm afraid it would be extremely difficult for you all to successfully cultivate it. There's no need for Emperor Yu to worry about this. It's fine as long as you hand God's hand to us. This person's eyes were incomparably sharp, glowing with a golden light. His entire body exuded a wild aura. Beside him was a young man Qin Wentian had met before in the Namhuang clan, Zhong Zhan. Clearly, this person was a demon emperor, a golden heaven-warring condor. Fine, I will hand God's hand over to you all. Let's see if you all can cultivate it. Emperor Yu straightforwardly nodded his head in agreement. Even that demon emperor felt somewhat bewildered. This Emperor Yu was a little too straightforward. As the protector of this secret art, would he really hand over God's hand so easily? Everyone, please step aside. I will imprint God's hand on this piece of land. Emperor Yu calmly spoke. The eyes of everyone flashed as they retreated. We still need to retreat further. Everyone retreat. Emperor Yu flicked his sleeves. Although everyone didn't understand, they still retreated. Since Emperor Yu agreed, there was no way he would play any tricks. What sort of characters were the people here? Emperor Yu was an immortal emperor, and was naturally extremely intelligent. He knew the consequences of making a fool out of them. Emperor Yu's figure slowly soared up into the air. The two beside him also retreated. An instant later, Emperor Yu appeared in the air. His white hair fluttered even though there was no wind. His long robes fluttered as a raging wind gusted. A fearsome might gushed forth from him, instantly enveloping the surroundings. In the center of Emperor Yu's brows, a terrifying divine light radiated resplendently, incomparably resplendent. In just a short instant, Emperor Yu's surroundings shone with golden light as countless ancient runes floated in the center of his brows, exuding boundless might. Abruptly, a terrifying beam of light shot out from him, blasting towards the ground. Boom, boom, boom. At this instant, the entire space trembled as boundless runic light shot towards the ground. A gigantic golden diagram appeared there, containing ancient runes that towered up into the sky, exuding an unfathomable might. Emperor Yu's might didn't diminish at all. Boundless immortal sense gushed forth, blasting into the ground, causing the entire area to turn golden, transforming into a terrifying formation. Finally, when everything came to an end, the gazes of everyone turned to the great earth. Countless runic inscriptions flowed about, as numerous ancient characters floated in the air, as though they were three-dimensional existences. What was even more terrifying was that there was actually a golden figure standing there. This figure was formed from countless runic inscriptions, and its entire body seemed to be a body of a talisman. It exuded a terrifying might that could cause one's soul to tremble. Emperor Yu floated in the air, staring at the stunned crowd as he spoke. This is the ultimate art of God's hand. Everyone can cultivate it. I hope that everyone will be able to succeed in it. Zidi took the lead and stepped out, instantly appearing below the gigantic golden diagram. Zidi closed his eyes and quietly sensed it. Bzz bzz. Numerous figures stepped out at the same time, entering the diagram. Nanfeng Guhong spoke. If any of you want to enter, don't leave my side. Yes. Everyone nodded. There were simply too many experts here. Nanfeng Guhong, as an immortal emperor, would be able to protect them. Nanfeng Guhong also stepped in. Qin Wentian also entered the diagram, bathing in boundless runic light. Qin Wentian closed his eyes as numerous ancient runes floated into his sea of consciousness. They were so clear and incomparably mystical. This was actually real, the ultimate art of God's hand. Qin Wentian had no distractions in his heart, immersing himself in it. He could deeply sense the profoundness of God's hand. He transformed the immortal energy in his body into runes, transforming them into corporeal ancient runes, stimulating the strength of his entire body, and not just his hands. All the energy in his body converged on his immortal foundation, transforming into a wondrous energy that could shake the heavens and earth. God's hand was like the hands of a divinity. God's hand wasn't an extremely complicated ultimate art. It was very simple yet incomparably profound, containing countless transformations within. One had to continuously comprehend it and grow stronger. If one couldn't comprehend it, they wouldn't even be able to gain an elementary understanding of it. There were many ultimate arts in the immortal realms that were cultivated step by step, from weak to strong. Even if one's talent wasn't very high, they would still be able to comprehend a little and unleash a small amount of power. However, God's hand was different. If one couldn't comprehend it, then they wouldn't be able to comprehend it. It wasn't something that could be cultivated step by step. As long as you comprehended it, you might be able to succeed in a single attempt. But how much power you could unleash would depend on your own comprehension abilities, how deep your comprehension was, and how much power you could unleash. God's hand wasn't a fixed method of attack. The cultivators were different and the energy they were proficient in was different. God's hand was able to unleash countless transformations. 3 days later, everyone was still immersed in it, including the immortal emperors. Everyone, have you finished your cultivation? At this moment a voice rang out, shaking the eardrums of everyone. This caused everyone to open their eyes and stare in the direction of Emperor Yu. They all stepped out, exiting the space filled with runic characters. However, their gazes were still fixed there as their brows were tightly furrowed. Zidi grabbed out with his hand as a gigantic palm imprint blasted out towards the sky. Emperor Yu laughed when he saw this. Is this God's hand? This should be a gigantic palm imprint, right? God's hand isn't complete. It only has the form but not the essence. Where is the essence of this ultimate art? Zidi inclined his head and stared at Emperor Yu. His eyes gleamed with violet light, exuding an imposing might. As an immortal emperor character in the immortal realms, you actually still need others to teach you the essence? Emperor Yu stared at Zidi and laughed. From this point alone, you are far inferior compared to the ancient Emperor Yi. Zidi's eyes narrowed. The violet chi in the air towered up into the sky, resembling a terrifying tempest. When Emperor Yu saw this, he asked why. You can't evaluate it? I will step into the ancient emperor realm. Ziti coldly spoke. Now tell us, where is the other part? Inside the ancient mountain. At this moment, the immortal emperor from the Jiang clan spoke. His eyes gleamed with a divine light as he stared at the ancient mountain peaks behind the God Hand Mountain Manor. Over there, even his eyes couldn't see through it. There must be a secret hidden there. Let's go and take a look. The demon emperor Golden Condor stepped out, wanting to head over. However, Emperor Yu laughed. There's no need for you to act. You guys want to see the complete version of God's hand? I'm afraid none of you have the ability to do so. You speak too much nonsense. The golden battle chi from the demon emperor gushed forth. Emperor Yu glanced at a person beside him. That person's silhouette flashed as he flew towards the ancient mountain in the distance. An instant later, the clouds above the ancient mountain started to churn violently. There was actually a terrifying grand formation hidden within. The clouds dissipated, revealing a gigantic diagram that locked down the entire space. Emperor Yu stretched out his palm, and a resplendent golden light flashed in his palm. A golden arrow appeared in his hand, containing a torrential sharpness. Swish! A thunderous sound rang out, the arrow pierced through the air, instantly landing on the gigantic diagram. With a thunderous boom, the entire world seemed to change. A mysterious ancient mountain covered in churning clouds appeared in the vision of everyone. The immortal emperors here instantly sent their immortal senses out, wanting to probe it. They only felt that it was incomparably mysterious. Their immortal senses were all restricted. Bzzz. A raging wind gusted as demonic chi towered up into the sky. Golden light enveloped this entire space, incomparably resplendent. The demon emperor Golden Condor flapped its golden wings and instantly entered the ancient mountain. The eyes of the immortal emperors flashed as they prepared to act. But at this very instant, a towering aura gushed forth as the Golden Condor soared up into the sky. Boundless golden light illuminated the area as a destructive palm manifested, blotting out the sun as it blasted out. The demon emperor roared, causing heaven and earth to shake violently. He retreated hundreds of kilometers in the blink of an eye, where rumbling sounds could be heard. The ground was torn apart, and the sky was split open by the golden light. The mountain peaks in the area were all crushed into powder. Roar! The demon emperor let out a heaven-shaking roar. His supreme combat might cause those with lower cultivation bases to prostrate on the ground. A palm imprint from the ancient mountain forced the demon emperor to retreat. Emperor Yu's eyes gleamed with sharpness. He swept his gaze over everyone as he spoke. Even if there's an ultimate art within this ancient mountain, I'm afraid none of the immortal emperors here would be able to enter. Chapter 1062. A raging wind gusted as golden light flashed. The demon emperor Condor returned. His expression was incomparably sharp as he stared at Emperor Yu. Why are you looking at me? I didn't ask you to enter. You guys are the ones who requested to enter. Emperor Yu calmly spoke. Everyone here is an extraordinary character. Since all of you want to cultivate God's hand, I shall place God's hand before you all. Could it be that all of you want to blame me for failing? What a joke. What's in the ancient mountain? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor walked up and asked. The gazes of everyone turned to Emperor Yu. Seems like it wouldn't be so easy to obtain God's hand. Even if Emperor Yu allowed them to cultivate it, it would still be extremely difficult. I've said it before, I'm merely the protector of the ultimate art. This ancient mountain was left behind by ancient Emperor Yi, and contains the essence of the so-called ultimate art you all want. Perhaps it might be able to enlighten you all. However, I have to remind everyone that this ancient mountain isn't so easy to enter. The stronger one's cultivation base is, the greater the influence they would feel, because the essence of the ultimate art you all will feel will be more real. It's so real that it's like a real attack directly attacking you. Emperor Yu's eyes gradually turned sharp. Since so many experts came to the God Hand Mountain Manor wanting to obtain God's hand, he might as well go with the flow. It was indeed about time for God's hand to appear. There were already some young men who managed to cultivate God's hand in the city of ancient emperors and came here. Now, it all depended on who had the fortune to obtain the complete secret art. As the protector of this secret art, he could also give up on everything. Ancient Emperor E is merely an ancient person. Can the will he left behind stop us? Ziti stood there arrogantly, his imposingness growing even more intense. He stared at the horizons with an eager look on his face. I don't wish to repeat myself. The complete secret art God's hand is right before your eyes. If you all have the ability, go ahead and obtain it. There's no need for me to waste my breath. I also know why everyone is here and can't be bothered to waste words with an old man like me. Emperor Yu calmly spoke. Ziti's silhouette flashed and instantly appeared at the entrance of the ancient mountain. Violet chi rose from the east. The entire space was filled with violet light. The silhouette of the Violet Emperor was like an ancient god, exuding boundless might. He stepped out, directly entering the ancient mountain. Ziti was a peak-stage immortal emperor character in the immortal realms. How powerful was he? If the true body of ancient Emperor E was here, Ziti would definitely feel inferior. However, this ancient mountain was left behind by ancient Emperor E. How could he, Ziti, be unable to enter? The silhouette of the Violet Emperor disappeared directly, entering the ancient mountain. A formless pressure emanated from the ancient mountain, causing everything within 1,000 miles to tremble. Everyone's hearts trembled along with it. Within the ancient mountain, violet light towered up into the skies as a supreme might enveloped the entire region. Although the experts of the God Hand Mountain Manor were very far away, they could feel the earth beneath their feet trembling unceasingly. In fact, there were even faint cracks appearing on the ground. Rumble! A terrifying pressure enveloped everyone. They had no way to see what was happening within the ancient mountain. Finally, boundless violet light shot up into the clouds as Ziti appeared there. The resplendent violet radiance seemed to have been shattered, and he appeared to be in a sorry state. His eyes were filled with violet light as he stared at the ancient mountain below with an extremely unsightly expression on his face. Even Ziti can't enter? The hearts of the crowd trembled. If Ziti couldn't enter, most probably none of the immortal emperors present here would be able to. Ziti wasn't willing to give up. He stepped into the ancient mountain once more as that oppressive pressure engulfed the sky once more. Not long after, Ziti came out again. This time around, he didn't persist and chose to return to the God Hand Mountain Manor with an extremely unsightly expression on his face. Go in and try. Ziti spoke to an immortal king beside him. That immortal king nodded and stepped out, entering the ancient mountain. Everyone turned their gazes over, paying close attention to what was happening. Within the ancient mountain, another terrifying collision sound rang out. Although it wasn't as intense as before, it still caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. Not long after, that immortal king was forced back, coughing out a mouthful of blood. However, his life wasn't in danger. This ancient mountain was able to block Ziti. Yet it couldn't even kill an immortal king. From this, one could tell that Emperor Yu didn't say anything. The stronger one's cultivation base was, the greater the effect would be. Emperor Xiao, why don't you let your daughter go in and try? Zidaoyang stared at Xiao Lingyue as he spoke. Xiao Lingyue's cultivation base was the lowest among everyone here. She was only at the peak of celestial phenomenon and had yet to break through to immortal foundation. The eyes of the Xiao Emperor flickered as he hesitated. Ziti's gaze was incomparably imposing, exuding a faint pressure. Although they were both immortal emperors, Ziti's cultivation base was higher than his. Hence, although immortal emperors were immortal emperors, in front of Ziti, they were no different from immortal kings. At the immortal emperor level, a single level higher could suppress someone to death. Father, let me try. Xiao Lingyue spoke. Only then did the Xiao Emperor nod. I will bring you over. After speaking, the Xiao Emperor brought Xiao Lingyue to the ancient mountain. Outside the ancient mountain, he placed Xiao Lingyue down and allowed her to enter. Within the ancient mountain, no aura could be sensed. The Xiao Emperor saw Xiao Lingyue advancing step by step without any abnormalities. In fact, she wasn't even attacked at all. His gaze then turned to the direction of the God Hand Mountain Manor as he felt a sense of shock in his heart. My daughter is in the ancient mountain. She isn't affected at all. The Xiao Emperor spoke. She isn't affected at all. This means that even if she entered, it would be pointless. Emperor Yu smiled. That place contains the divine essence of God's hand. If she can't even sense the divine essence, what's the point of entering? In that case, immortal kings and immortal foundation experts are the most suitable to enter the ancient mountain? An immortal emperor from the Jiang clan asked. Emperor Yu smiled but didn't reply. It's fine for people of any cultivation base to enter. It's up to you. God's hand is right before your eyes. Whether you can cultivate it or not depends on your luck. But let me remind all of you that God's hand is something all of you want to cultivate. I'll open the doors to allow all of you to come into contact with Senior Emperor Yi's secret art. I don't expect all of you to be grateful to me, but if your disciples or descendants die because of this secret art, don't blame it on this old man. If that's the case, you would truly be a laughing stock. Everyone wants you to stay here and not leave. If anything happens after we enter, we won't blame you. An immortal emperor from the Ying clan spoke, his words causing the other immortal emperors to nod as their eyes gleamed with sharpness. That's right, Emperor, you had to stay behind. If not, who knew if he would be able to control the energy within the ancient mountain? Okay, I will stay here and watch over everyone. Please do as you wish. Emperor, you didn't mind the overbearing request of the other party. He then spoke in a carefree manner, men, prepare a banquet. This old man will stay here to entertain the guests who came from afar. Yes. The white-robed butler Lu nodded. After that, he left to instruct the subordinates of the manor. Not long after, there really was a banquet prepared. Emperor Yu sat there with a smile on his face, as though he was looking at the rising wind and surging clouds. Everyone, please feel free to do as you please. Emperor Yu waved his hands, as though he didn't care about anything. The other immortal emperors weren't as calm as Emperor Yu. They respectively sent their immortal kings to probe the ancient mountain. Not only for them, the immortal kings of the southern regions also entered as well. The ancient mountain trembled as the sounds of attacks rang out unceasingly. Those immortal kings were all blasted out, unable to enter the ancient mountain. In fact, there were even some who were injured. And this was merely the moment they entered the ancient mountain. It was unknown what secrets there were in the depths of the ancient mountain. Immortal kings couldn't enter. Only immortal foundation experts could. They tried again, and as expected, the cultivation bases of immortal foundation experts were weaker. Hence, the attacks they encountered were weaker as well. But because their cultivation bases were lower, some of them were forced back, but there were also some who could advance. As they probed again and again, they seemed to have discovered a pattern. At this moment, the experts of the Namhuang clan sat together, enjoying the delicacies and wine. Their gazes surveyed the surroundings only to hear Nanfeng Guhong saying, God's hand isn't easy to obtain. How can the secret arts of ancient emperors be so easily comprehended? Qin Wentian laughed. You can tell? Nanfeng Guhong's gaze landed on Qin Wentian. Senior Emperor, you said that the ancient mountain contains the essence of the secret art. However, for those who enter, the stronger their cultivation base is, the stronger the attacks they would face. They would be able to comprehend the most, while those with weaker cultivation bases could easily enter. But if they couldn't see anything, what's the use of that? Hence, if one wants to comprehend the secret art, immortal kings and immortal foundation experts are the most suitable to enter. However, if they want to pry into the secrets of the secret art, they would have to endure attacks that far surpass their cultivation base. Qin Wentian spoke. I don't think so. If it's like what you said, there's no solution. I believe that ancient Emperor Yi left the secret art here because he wanted to find a successor, and not because he wanted to waste time. Only those who truly have the ability to enter the depths of the ancient mountain would have the qualifications to probe and pry into the secrets of the secret art. But clearly, this entrance has already been sealed by too many people. Nanfeng Guhong calmly spoke. Her thoughts were the same as the other immortal emperors. They were already prepared to send their most outstanding geniuses into the ancient mountain, including their descendants. Oh yeah, let me remind everyone again. If your immortal senses were to appear in there, you would instantly sense the divine essence of the secret arts in the ancient mountain. However, your immortal senses are far inferior compared to your true bodies, and would be instantly blasted into nothingness. Hence, when you send your descendants into the ancient mountain, you have to be more cautious. Emperor Yu laughed, his words causing many immortal emperors to coldly glance at him. Although this was the case, they had no choice. Only by entering the ancient mountain would they be able to comprehend the secret art. Inside, this was the only chance. Their descendants had to personally enter. After all, the secret art wasn't a secret art. There was no way for them to bring it out. Ziyu, do you want to enter? The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan asked Zhang Ziyu. Since the opportunity has appeared, I naturally have to enter. Zhang Ziyu's eyes gleamed with sharpness. Good. I've already told my clan to send their geniuses over to accompany you into the ancient mountain. The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan spoke. Not only him, the Ying clan did the same as well. I'm afraid they will still send more people over. My Namhuang clan will also send some experts over to enter the ancient mountain. You guys should continue to comprehend the power of God's hand and increase your chances of success. Namfeng Guhong spoke. The reappearance of God's hand in the southern regions would naturally cause a huge commotion. After several days, even more experts arrived at the God Hand Mountain Manor. Emperor Yu was still as carefree as ever, as though everything had nothing to do with him. He was just an outsider watching the storm from the sidelines. After a few more days, the Emperor Qianbian and Bai Wuya also arrived. At the same time, there were also some people who Qin Wentian had never met before. All of them exuded extraordinary auras and were at different levels of immortal foundation. Chapter 1063. More and more experts gathered at the God Hand Mountain Manor. The immortal emperors here tried many times and understood that immortal foundation was the best choice to enter the ancient mountain. Only they would have a chance to enter the depths of the ancient mountain and comprehend the divine essence of God's hand, obtaining the complete version. Hence, they gathered many immortal foundation geniuses from their sects here. In fact, there were already more and more immortal foundation experts who entered the ancient mountain. Some could only walk at the periphery and had no way to enter. However, there were also some outstanding geniuses who disappeared from the vision of the crowd. Clearly, they had already entered the depths of the ancient mountain. Qin Wentian wasn't in a hurry. He sat cross-legged and stared at the runic diagram of God's hand as he continued to comprehend the complete version. Leaving aside immortal emperors and immortal kings, their comprehension abilities might be extraordinary. But at the immortal foundation level, Qin Wentian was certain that no one would have a deeper comprehension of God's hand compared to him. After all, he was someone who had truly cultivated God's hand before, and could already unleash the power of God's hand. His comprehension of the complete version of God's hand grew increasingly deeper, and he knew how to activate it. Emperor Yu was as carefree as ever, sitting in a pavilion and enjoying the immortal banquet. No matter how many people came, he didn't care at all, allowing them to do what they wanted. It had nothing to do with him. Ziyu, are you still not going in? The immortal emperor of the Jiang clan stared at Zhang Ziyu, who was sitting cross-legged, as he asked. There were already many people who entered the ancient mountain, including those from the Ying clan. Yet Zhang Ziyu was still unmoved. There's no hurry. Try to comprehend more of God's hand. The more proficient you are, the more beneficial it would be for you to comprehend the divine essence of God's hand. In addition, I'm waiting for someone to enter first. Zhang Ziyu calmly spoke. He glanced at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian had already cultivated God's hand before. Since Qin Wentian wasn't in a hurry, why should he, Zhang Ziyu, be in a hurry? In that case, I will get the people from the Jiang clan to wait for you. The Jiang clan's great emperor spoke. Among the people here, although they were all members of the Jiang clan, Zhang Ziyu's talent was the highest and his status was the highest among them. If there was someone who could comprehend God's hand, Zhang Ziyu would have the greatest chance. The others came here to assist Zhang Ziyu. Nanfeng Guhong was also in no hurry. She turned her gaze to Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunxi, allowing the Namhuang clan to follow them into the ancient mountain. Qin Wentian continued to comprehend for several days. His body glowed with immortal light as a huge transformation occurred. Numerous complicated runes appeared as his immortal foundation transformed into various diagrams, transforming into a powerful energy that stimulated his immortal body. However, he was still a step away. Just like back then when Qin Wentian entered the underground palace together with Xiaolenge, he was only able to comprehend the form of God's hand. Only after he saw the blood-colored runes in the underground palace would he be able to unleash the true power of God's hand. The secret should be hidden somewhere in the ancient mountain. Today, a mysterious figure appeared in the God Hand Mountain Manor. Beside this mysterious figure was a black hound that exuded a baleful aura. Its eyes gleamed with a terrifying coldness, and everyone who came into contact with the black hound's gaze would feel a chill down their spines. The person beside the black hound was clad in a long robe and exuded an unfathomable aura. It was impossible to tell his age and appearance because he had a mysterious bronze mask on his face. His exposed eyes were deep and cold, causing people to be able to sense the sharpness in them. At the same time, they could also sense that this person wasn't very old and should be a young man. His cultivation base was only at the Immortal Foundation realm. Jiang Ziyu turned his gaze to the mysterious figure. His eyes turned terrifying as he stared into the eyes of the mysterious figure, wanting to see through everything. At the same time, the mysterious figure seemed to have sensed his gaze and turned back to him as well. Jiang Ziyu saw a pair of extremely deep and terrifying eyes. The power contained in the mysterious figure's eyes had no way to hide. It was completely blocked. He couldn't see through it. Jiang Ziyu's eyes flashed. He didn't expect that there would be another interesting person here. Things were getting more and more interesting. The mysterious young man with the bronze mask swept his gaze over everyone before closing his eyes to meditate. Everyone saw that he was alone and didn't pay much attention to this mysterious figure. In fact, there were even some who silently mused that this mysterious figure was trying to act mysterious. At this moment, Qin Wentian stood up. The gazes of many turned to him, only to see Qin Wentian nodding his head to the Emperor of Qianbian and Bai Wuya. Seems like your life in the Namhuang clan isn't too bad. The Emperor of Qianbian stared at the beauties beside Qin Wentian as he smiled. Luckily, the Namhuang clan has been taking good care of me. Qin Wentian laughed. Seems like your harvest this time around isn't small. Now it's time for you to enter. The Emperor of Qianbian spoke. Right? Qin Wentian nodded. After that, he turned his gaze onto the ancient mountain and stepped out, moving in that direction. Namhuang Yunxi and the others from the Namhuang clan followed after him. The group of young men beside the Emperor of Qianbian and Bai Wuya also stepped out, preparing to enter the ancient mountain. Jiang Ziyu of the Jiang clan stood up and spoke, "Let's go." As the sound of his voice faded, they all moved towards the ancient mountain. Dong Shengting stared at the silhouette of Qin Wentian as a cold light flashed in his eyes. After that, he and the other disciples of the other immortal emperors stepped out at the same time, moving towards the ancient mountain. It was as though because of Qin Wentian's actions, all of them would be affected. After the group entered the ancient mountain, the mysterious figure with the bronze mask gently stroked his black hound, before bringing the black hound with him into the ancient mountain. Very swiftly, the number of people here grew fewer and fewer. Only a few immortal emperors and emperors remained, as well as those who couldn't enter the ancient mountain. With so many geniuses entering the ancient mountain in search of good fortune, there would surely be many who would die here. Also, there would definitely be descendants of those who are present here. I've already warned everyone, don't blame this old man if they die here. This is the path you all chose for yourselves. Emperor Yu spoke, his voice filled with coldness. Humph, Zidi coldly snorted. Among his descendants, Zi Daoyang was the youngest and had the lowest cultivation base. As for his other descendants, none of them were at the Immortal Foundation realm. This time around, he ordered one of his nephews with outstanding talent to enter the ancient mountain. Naturally, there would definitely be people who would die here. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor coldly spoke as he glanced in the direction of the Emperor of Qianbian. Eastern Sage, if Qin Wentian and Dongsheng Ting encountered each other alone, who do you think would die? The Emperor of Qianbian laughed as he stared at the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's eyes flashed with coldness. Naturally, Qin Wentian would die. Is that so? Why did I hear that your son Dongsheng Ting doesn't even have the courage to fight against Qin Wentian? The Emperor of Qianbian sarcastically spoke. Wuya said that back then when you went to the particle world to recruit disciples, Qin Wentian was only an initial stage celestial phenomenon. At that time, Dongsheng Ting was already a lofty Immortal Foundation cultivator, yet he actually cowered from battle in the Namhuang clan. This son of yours is truly trash. I hope he would be able to walk out alive. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's countenance was ice cold as a violent might gushed forth. The Emperor of Qianbian coldly laughed. Why? Do you want to fight again? Qianbian, I hope you can continue being so arrogant. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor threatened. His gaze then turned to Bai Wuya, flickering with coldness. Back then in the particle world, if it wasn't for Bai Wuya's timely arrival, his Dongshengshen Gate would have already annihilated the experts from the immortal Qianbian Gate who came to the particle world. Qin Wentian and the others had already arrived at the top of the ancient mountain. The interior of this ancient mountain was extremely mysterious, containing a marvelous aura. All of a sudden, a voice drifted into his ears like a bolt of lightning. He turned his gaze ahead only to see an illusory gigantic palm imprint abruptly materializing, slamming towards him. Qin Wentian's immortal foundation erupted forth as God's hand appeared, transforming into a terrifying palm that blasted out, colliding with the illusory gigantic palm imprint. The others all had their own reactions, but their reactions weren't as intense as Qin Wentian's. What mysteries does this ancient mountain contain exactly? Qin Wentian silently mused. He continued walking forward, staring at the space before him. The space before him seemed to interweave together, transforming into a divine light. Another voice rang out as a thunderous boom rang out. A terrifying bolt of lightning flashed in Qin Wentian's mind. This was none other than the power of the gigantic palm imprint. Rumble! Qin Wentian's body trembled violently as he groaned in misery. His countenance turned pale. This mysterious and unfathomable ancient mountain was simply terrifying. Namhuang Yunxi and Jun Mengchen also suffered attacks, but their attacks weren't as intense as Qin Wentian's. Although they felt uncomfortable, they could still endure it. There shouldn't be any problems for them to enter the ancient mountain. This was something the immortal emperors had tried many times before. Immortal Foundation characters were the most suitable candidates to enter the ancient mountain. Jiang Ziyu followed behind Qin Wentian and entered the ancient mountain. His eyes flickered with a terrifying light, containing a mysterious aura. Faint golden light radiated from him as a towering might gushed forth from his body. The white tiger killing god howled in rage as it slashed out. Evidently, his eyes could see something that others couldn't. Truly strange. Even at the Immortal Foundation realm, I can see such a powerful aura. For immortal emperors, they could see through everything with a single glance the moment they entered the ancient mountain. Isn't this ancient emperor a little too shocking? Jiang Ziyu silently mused. He grew more vigilant and didn't dare to casually open his heavenly eye of the Buddhist path. Dong Shengting stared at the back view of Qin Wentian. To him, the main purpose of entering the ancient mountain was to kill Qin Wentian. As for the mysterious masked young man behind Dong Shengting, he had already closed his eyes and sealed his six senses. He didn't seem to be affected in the slightest. He didn't come here for the sake of God's hand. Although I suffered an attack, the formless attack penetrated into my mind, penetrating through my body. Before this, I seemed to have gained a trace of insight into God's hand. Nanfeng Shanga spoke in a light voice. It's just that I'm still far from comprehending God's hand. Most probably, to the vast majority of people, this would be a pointless risk. That's true. Qin Wentian nodded. Everyone be more careful. As they spoke, they continued deeper into the ancient mountain. Before them, there were still many experts who entered the ancient mountain. Their speed was extremely slow. Chapter 1064. As the experts ventured deeper, there were gradually some who couldn't endure it any longer, having no way to continue forward. This ancient mountain seemed boundlessly deep and mysterious. Occasionally, a mystical sound would ring out, resembling the sound of the great Tao, causing everyone to tremble as though they were struck by lightning. Yet, Qin Wentian could feel a summoning force, urging him to continue advancing forward. The divine essence of God's hand seemed to be everywhere in this ancient mountain range. His gaze turned to a certain mountain. Instantly, Qin Wentian had an illusion that there was a gigantic diagram engraved on the mountain. The terrifying diagram was in the shape of a human, and all of a sudden, a fearsome palm imprint blasted out. Qin Wentian's gaze penetrated through everything, wanting to see through the palm imprint and the diagram. Stepping out, he pushed his strength to the limit as his immortal foundation shone with a resplendent light. God's hand appeared and blasted out. Rumble! The space trembled as a mountain-toppling and sea-overturning energy blasted out in all directions, slamming into the mountain rampart. However, it had no effect at all. Qin Wentian's eyes were still staring ahead. That terrifying gaze of his seemed to be able to see through everything, wanting to see through the divine essence diagram. Another mysterious energy manifested in his body as boundless runes circulated frenziedly. Rumbling sounds reverberated through the air as numerous gigantic palm imprints blasted over, exuding an overwhelming killing intent. A demon sword appeared in Qin Wentian's hand, humming as demonic qi gushed forth, resembling a great rock spreading its wings. The glow of God's hand shone brilliantly as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. With a slash of his sword, a towering great rock howled in rage, shattering the terrifying palm imprints unceasingly. Qin Wentian slowly walked up the air, heading straight for the palm imprints. Within the ancient mountain, a formless energy akin to the ringing of a bell directly rang out in his mind. It was like a bolt of lightning, causing the diagram in his mind to grow even clearer. However, his actions didn't pause at all. The demon sword danced about as numerous great rocks shattered the void, breaking apart everything. Finally, the divine essence gradually dimmed. However, Qin Wentian's eyes still gleamed with a resplendent divine light. Qin Wentian kept the demon sword and turned his head back, only to see several experts attacking the ancient mountain. Evidently, he wasn't the only one who sensed the divine essence within. At this moment, a voice drifted over. Nanfeng Shunga turned her gaze over only to see Kong Yi and Zhongzhan appearing there. The person who spoke was none other than Kong Yi. He then spoke, "Shunga, this ancient mountain contains the Tao of laws and can transform them into attacks. Do you want to come with us?" "No need, we have quite a lot of people." Nanfeng Shunga smiled and shook her head. Kong Yi glanced at Qin Wentian and the others from the Namhuang clan before nodding his head and didn't say anything. "Let's continue on our way." Qin Wentian spoke when he saw everyone stopping. Other than the people from the Namhuang clan, the people brought by Emperor Qianbian and by Wuya were not far away from them. Behind them, Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi's subordinates could be seen. Among them, Dongsheng Ting and another young man were in the lead. This young man was none other than Zidi's nephew. His name was Zi Yunwu and his talent was extraordinary. Zidi regarded this nephew highly and imparted a secret art to him, causing Zi Yunwu to be extremely powerful. Dongsheng Ting, Zi Yunwu and the others walked behind Qin Wentian. Their gazes were filled with coldness when they glanced at Qin Wentian. This caused Zhang Ziyu, who was not far away from them, to have a mysterious smile on his face. Seems like there would be a good show playing out in the ancient mountain. He only needed to wait and watch. Zhang Ziyu's gaze would occasionally turn to the young man with the bronze mask who was walking with his eyes closed. Black Hound followed behind him, traveling alone with no companions. "Sir, do you want to travel together? We can take care of each other during the journey." Zhang Ziyu spoke to the mysterious masked young man. "No need." The other party merely replied. There were no fluctuations in his tone. Zhang Ziyu smiled, he didn't mind it at all. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had already passed since Qin Wentian and the others entered the ancient mountain. During these 3 days, the God Hand Mountain Manor was as calm as ever. Emperor Yu gave the order to prepare a grand banquet for everyone. This banquet lasted for several days and nights, and no matter who it was, they could all enter. Zidi, Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, and the others didn't leave. The various immortal emperors all sent their descendants to enter the ancient mountain. They naturally wanted to wait for the good news from them. "Emperor Yu, is this ancient mountain truly left behind by ancient Emperor Yi?" Zidi turned his gaze to Emperor Yu as he asked. "Naturally." Emperor Yu smiled and nodded. "If not, why would an ancient mountain make you, Zidi, unable to enter even if you wanted to? What cultivation level did ancient Emperor Yi reach exactly back then?" Zidi asked again. "You should have heard of it before." Emperor Yu laughed. "Only those characters who could unify the immortal realms were at that cultivation realm. Even if you are a peak stage immortal emperor, you wouldn't be able to withstand a single strike from ancient Emperor Yi. He could kill you with a single wave of his hand." Humph! A look of unhappiness appeared on Zidi's face. Even if he knew that Emperor Yu's words were true, he would step into that realm sooner or later. "Emperor Yu, Ancient Emperor Yi left behind the divine essence of his ultimate art in the ancient mountain. This means that only those who enter the ancient mountain would be able to obtain the inheritance. For those who obtain the God's hand, it's useless even if we capture them. Seems like ancient Emperor Yi regarded this ultimate art with great importance and was afraid that the inheritor would meet with misfortune. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor laughed. For an ultimate art like God's hand, other than some unique ones, which other ultimate art would be so easy to cultivate? Even for Zidi's ultimate Violet Saint immortal art, could it be that those who captured Zidi's inheritor would be able to cultivate it? If it's so simple, wouldn't Zidi's inheritor be in danger? For the descendants of the Jiang clan and Namhuang clan, which of them would dare to roam the immortal realms alone? Emperor Yu coldly laughed. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor is speaking nonsense. Emperor Yu, seems like you have a lot of resentment. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor smiled. From what I know, God's hand reappeared in the city of ancient emperors and was cultivated by a descendant. This time around, Emperor Yu inscribed the ultimate art here and opened the ancient mountain. Does this have anything to do with him? You want to ask if this ancient mountain was opened for a single person, right? Emperor Yu laughed. The complete secret art is right in front of everyone. You are an immortal emperor yet you still doubt it? How laughable. I'm just casually speaking, Emperor Yu, please don't take offense. I naturally believe in Emperor Yu. If not, if it was really prepared for a single person, I'm afraid all our efforts would have been for naught. God's hand would vanish from the immortal realms once again. That would truly be a pity. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor calmly spoke. The eyes of Nanfeng Guhong and Emperor Qianbian flashed when they heard this. The Emperor Qianbian calmly spoke. Eastern Sage, you are boasting shamelessly again. Boasting shamelessly? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor drank a cup of wine and smiled. I wonder if you still have a strand of immortal sense on him. If you do, you would naturally be able to see him one last time before he dies. Sadly, the ancient mountain is capable of destroying all strands of immortal sense. I'm afraid you won't be able to save him. Eastern Sage, as an immortal emperor, you actually want to kill a young man who just stepped into immortal foundation. I truly feel ashamed for you. Emperor Qianbian coldly spoke. From Eastern Sage's tone, it seemed that he was extremely confident that he could kill Qin Wentian. And as expected, he led the experts of the Dongshengshan Gate here, borrowing the opportunity of comprehending God's hand. He wanted to take Qin Wentian's life. Qin Wentian and the others have already entered the depths of the ancient mountain. Numerous towering peaks towered up into the sky. This mysterious ancient mountain seemed to have no end. During these days, Qin Wentian and the others comprehended many different types of energy. The number of people here also decreased, but when they truly entered the depths of the ancient mountain, they discovered that the divine essence contained within was even more profound than before. Many people were no longer affected by the ancient mountain because they couldn't sense the existence of the divine essence. They would only feel their hearts trembling occasionally, as though there was a terrifying and mysterious energy hidden within the depths of the ancient mountain. At this moment, Qin Wentian and the others arrived in front of a vast mountain rampart. There were mountain ramparts on 3 sides and there was a narrow passageway in front of them. But before that, Qin Wentian stared at the mountain rampart in a daze. There was a diagram on the rampart, and there were ancient characters floating in the air, imprinting themselves into Qin Wentian's sea of consciousness. These ancient characters transformed into boundless energy that ravaged his body. Circulating his God's hand, the ancient characters grew clearer and clearer. His immortal foundation shone with a bright light as terrifying runic inscriptions radiated from him, unleashing a terrifying might. Boom boom boom. Qin Wentian only felt his body enduring the intense attacks from the ancient characters. His bones emitted cracking sounds as his body trembled unceasingly. His countenance turned pale, and as he unleashed the power of God's hand, the attacks grew more and more intense, to the point where it felt like his body was about to be destroyed. If one wants to cultivate God's hand, it's impossible even if one's physique is extremely tyrannical. One has to have a perfect physique. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. The people in the surroundings were all comprehending, and at this moment, Qin Wentian felt a killing intent. He abruptly turned and after that, he saw Dong Shangting and Zi Yunwu leading their troops away, forming an encirclement around them. A cold light flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Dong Shengting and the others had been following him all this while. How could Qin Wentian not know what Dong Shengting wanted to do? It was just that he was waiting to see what capabilities Dong Shengting had exactly to act against him. There were many experts on both sides. Before the battle started, nobody knew what would happen. Now, even if you want to exit, it's already impossible. Dong Shengting coldly spoke, staring at Qin Wentian and the others. Where does your confidence come from? Qin Wentian's eyes flickered with killing intent as well. How could he not want Dong Shengting to die? Dong Shengting turned his gaze to Namhuang Yunxi and the others. Everyone from the Namhuang clan. I don't wish to make things difficult for all of you. This is a grudge between us and Qin Wentian. Everyone, please don't interfere and just stand aside and watch. Namhuang Yunxi stared at Dong Shengting. Qin Wentian's matters are my Namhuang clan's matters as well. If this is the case, I'm afraid we would offend the Holy Maiden. Dong Shengting coldly spoke. Beams of immortal light flashed as the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate took out their immortal weapons. Qin Wentian, the experts from the Namhuang clan, as well as the experts from the immortal Qinbian Gate, also took out their immortal weapons. There were experts from all levels of immortal foundation here. Once a chaotic battle broke out, it would be extremely dangerous. Dong Shengting waved his hand as a terrifying spinning disc appeared. This disc contained incomparably complicated runes. It was so deep that one couldn't see the bottom. Dong Shengting infused his immortal energy into it, and a moment later, the spinning disc radiated a terrifying devouring light that expanded unceasingly. The demon sword in Qin Wentian's hand hummed as though it was about to fly out of his hands. Get over here! Dong Shengting roared. The spinning disc in his hand expanded as beams of silvery light shot out, gushing towards his opponents. With a swishing sound, the immortal weapon in the hands of a female from the Namhuang clan flew out and was directly absorbed by the spinning disc. Chapter 1065. Devour Immortal Weapons. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. His demon sword directly slashed out as a beam of sword light tore through the air. Dong Shengting coldly snorted and stepped out. The light from the spinning wheel was still as bright as before. The energy slashed out by the demon sword was directly devoured by the spinning wheel. At the same time, a powerful suction force pulled the demon sword away. Qin Wentian's countenance changed as he spoke. Keep your immortal weapons. As the sound of his voice faded, everyone kept their immortal weapons. The expressions of the experts from the Namhuang clan were all extremely unsightly to behold. As for the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate and Zidi, all of them had immortal weapons in their hands that could enhance their combat prowess. Qin Wentian, this ancient mountain shall be the place where you will die. Dong Shengting coldly spoke. The gigantic spinning wheel in front of him unceasingly radiated a terrifying suction force. The law energy contained within this powerful immortal weapon could easily envelop this entire space, preventing Qin Wentian and the others from using immortal weapons. In fact, it could even devour the immortal energy attacking him. In this case, Dong Shengting and the others were basically in an invincible position. You are truly well prepared. Seems like this immortal weapon that old dog Eastern Sage gave you especially used to deal with me. Qin Wentian stared at Dong Shengting as he spoke. The immortal weapon in his hand was able to absorb the immortal weapons of others. In that case, they would undoubtedly be at a disadvantage in this battle. Your life is already at its end. Yet your mouth is still so shameless. In this ancient mountain, no one can save you. Kill! Dong Shengting coldly spoke. A moment later, his experts rushed towards Qin Wentian. At the same time, Zi Yunwu, the nephew of Zidi, also waved his hand as the experts from the various powers also rushed towards Qin Wentian. Jiang Ziyu and the others from the Jiang clan watched from the back. Has the battle finally begun? Everyone disperse. Qin Wentian saw numerous immortal weapons radiating immortal might rushing over as he retreated. Everyone understood Qin Wentian's meaning. In such a situation, if they grouped together, they would undoubtedly become turtles trapped in a jar. The best method of combat was to expand the area of effect, so that Dong Shengting's immortal weapons wouldn't be able to envelop all of them. Kill Qin Wentian. Dong Shengting coldly spoke. With a wave of his hand, a gigantic flying shuttle appeared beneath his feet, transforming into a whirlwind that revolved frenziedly as it flew towards Qin Wentian. The experts beside him all boarded their flying shuttles as they sped towards Qin Wentian. This caused Nam Huang Yunqi's beautiful eyes to stiffen. There were many experts from the Dongshengshan Gate who had extremely high cultivation bases, far surpassing Qin Wentian. In addition, they could even borrow the power of immortal-ranked weapons to fight. If they only targeted Qin Wentian, they would only be sending Qin Wentian to his death. Stop them! Nam Huang Yunqi spoke. She once again sped towards Qin Wentian. The battle suddenly erupted as immortal might filled the air, causing a terrifying tempest to arise in this space. The experts from the Nam Huang clan didn't even have time to disperse. They instantly gathered together and blasted out with their immortal might. The might of their immortal foundations gushed forth as they blasted out with their palms. Shadow after shadow of phoenixes swept through the area, causing the sky to turn red as terrifying flames burned the entire space. Qin Wentian, leave. Nam Huang Yunqi spoke to Qin Wentian. The person Dong Shangting and his group wanted to kill the most was Qin Wentian. They didn't have any killing intent towards the Nam Huang clan, and didn't dare to act ruthlessly. Qin Wentian's countenance flickered with an intense coldness. Dong Shangting waited until he entered the depths of the ancient mountain before acting. Clearly Dong Shangting wanted to sever his path of retreat and wanted to kill him no matter what. However, he allowed Dong Shangting to follow him because he also had the same thoughts in his heart. Rumble, a terrifying sound rang out. The experts around Dong Shangting unleashed their attacks, shattering the shadow of the phoenixes unleashed by the Nam Huang clan. The experts from the Nam Huang clan all retreated. Evidently they were at a disadvantage. But at this moment, Dong Shangting suddenly felt an intense sense of danger. A beam of sword light flashed in front of him and Dong Shangting's countenance drastically changed. He hurriedly lifted the spinning wheel to block the attack. The sword light slashed apart the air as one of the experts beside Dong Shangting screamed in agony. His face was directly severed as fresh blood splattered through the air. Their attack slowed down as Dong Shangting stopped. The experts around him instantly moved to his side to protect him. Chi! Another beam of sword chi slammed down. This time it was a golden beam of sword light that didn't cause any terrifying commotion. However, this beam of sword chi seemed to descend from the void and was tyrannical to the extreme. When it slashed over, the space around it was about to be severed apart. An expert beside Dong Shangting lifted an immortal rank shield and placed it in front of Dong Shangting, blocking all the attacks. After that, a thunderous boom rang out, like a bolt of lightning smashing into the ground. The powerful impact forced them all to retreat. Only now did everyone clearly see that the attacker was a young man who didn't seem very old. His immortal foundation might gushed forth as his entire body was enveloped by a screen of light. Terrifying sword might circulated around him, exuding boundless might. Someone from the immortal Qianbian Gate. The eyes of the experts beside Dong Shangting turned cold. Wasn't the combat prowess of this young man a little too tyrannical? He was actually able to unleash an illusory sword attack. After this person acted, the pressure on Qin Wentian and the experts from the Nam Huang clan instantly lessened by a great deal. Other than the strength of the attacker, the other reason was because he chose the right time to attack as well as the person he attacked. The others had no choice but to protect Dong Shangting. If they wanted to kill Qin Wentian, he would attack Dong Shangting. Qin Wentian glanced at the attacker. This was the first time he saw this person, but he knew that this person would definitely play a crucial role. Because this person was one of the two disciples from the heavenly talisman realm brought here by Wuya. In addition, both of them were experts at the peak level of immortal foundation. Send a few people to deal with him. Dong Shangting glanced at the disciples from the heavenly talisman realm as he coldly spoke. The experts beside him exchanged glances and a few moments later, a few high-leveled immortal foundation experts brought their immortal-ranked weapons and walked towards that person. Although it was very difficult for this person to change the overall situation, the threat of his attacks was too great. He could easily pose a fatal threat to Dong Shangting. Even if they couldn't kill him, they had to trap him. Are you able to kill Dong Shangting? At this moment, a voice drifted into Qin Wentian's ears. It was none other than a disciple from the heavenly talisman realm, who transmitted his voice to him. If no one else interferes, there won't be a problem, Qin Wentian replied. Okay, it's not convenient for us to split up. We will work together with the Namhuang clan to delay this group of people. You leave this place and lure Dongshengting into pursuing you. That person spoke again. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. This idea was feasible, but it wouldn't be so easy to execute it. However, if he could really lure Dongshengting away, the people on his side would be able to use their immortal-ranked weapons. It shouldn't be a problem for them to delay the battle. Go. That person spoke. Qin Wentian abruptly turned and sped towards the canyon behind him. A pair of great rock wings appeared behind his back as he moved with lightning speed. Where do you think you can escape to? Dongshengting, Zi Yunwu and a disciple of the Xian Emperor saw that Qin Wentian wanted to flee. How could they let him go? They rushed out at the same time, chasing after Qin Wentian. Numerous attacks blasted out, cleaving open a path for him. Stop them! Namhuang Yunqi commanded. The experts of the Namhuang clan rushed over, causing Dongshengting and the others to split up to deal with the experts from the Namhuang clan. However, there were still over 10 experts who slaughtered their way out, disregarding everything else as they sped towards the direction where Qin Wentian was fleeing. Namhuang Yunqi's eyes flashed. She controlled the Phoenix boat and brought several experts with her as they sped towards Qin Wentian. Humph! Dongshengting and the others coldly snorted. The flying shuttle spun madly, slicing through the air as it sped towards the canyon ahead. But at this moment an expert suddenly appeared. It was none other than the other expert from the Heavenly Talisman realm, Wu Xiu. He had a mountain in his hand and abruptly smashed it downwards, wanting to seal this entire space. An expert beside Dongshengting blasted out in rage. In an instant, tens of thousands of fist lights manifested, wanting to destroy everything. The mountain peak crumbled, transforming into countless rocks. But at this moment, a powerful gravity field suddenly manifested. Dongshengting and Zi Yunwu only felt as though a gigantic mountain range was pressing down on them, making it extremely difficult for them to withstand the pressure. Boom! The expert in front stomped down as the might of his immortal foundation erupted forth. Dongshengting's body directly fell from the air as he howled in pain. Go kill him. Dongshengting commanded. The two of you go. Zi Yunwu also spoke. After which, several experts rushed towards the expert in front, surrounding the Heavenly Talisman realm. Dongshengting and Zi Yunwu continued flying up into the air. Come down! The expert from the Heavenly Talisman realm glowed with a translucent light, as though he was clad in an indestructible armor. His palms grabbed out in the air as a formless palm imprint containing a terrifying gravitational force manifested. Dongshengting had no way to escape from the gravity field even with his flying shuttle. Go down and kill him. Dongshengting roared in rage. His gaze stared ahead. Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunqi had already fled far away. Young Master Ting. The eyes of the guard beside him flickered. Don't worry, there are only two of them in front. The few of us are enough to deal with them. Dongshengting roared as he was pulled down. Quick! Roger! The guard beside him flew down as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. The expert below roared in rage, resembling a primordial giant. At this moment, Dongshengting and Zi Yunwu rushed out of the gravity field and soared ahead. However, the other experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm were all enveloped by a terrifying might. Their eyes flashed with coldness as they slaughtered their way towards the expert below. On the main battlefield, Zhang Ziyu stared at the experts fighting as he coldly laughed in his heart. The experts from the Dongshengshan Gate didn't show any mercy when fighting against the experts from the Immortal Qinbian Gate. However, they didn't dare to go all out against the experts from the Namhuang clan, because the Dongshengshan Gate couldn't afford to antagonize the Namhuang clan. Now that Dongshengting has left, the experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm would only be delayed. His gaze turned to the horizons as his terrifying eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. He then spoke in a low voice, Dongshengting is finished. Dongshengting should have the advantage, right? A person beside Zhang Ziyu spoke. That expert from the Immortal Qinbian Gate in the canyon is much stronger compared to the one who used the Void Sword technique earlier. He should be able to delay Dongshengting for a little longer, but he didn't, allowing Dongshengting to chase after Qin Wentian. I'm sure Qin Wentian would have a way to kill Dongshengting. Zhang Ziyu laughed, as though he had a very high opinion of Qin Wentian. His gaze abruptly shifted, only to see that there was no one beside him. His brows twitched. That black-robed expert with the bronze mask actually silently left during the battle. How interesting. Chapter 1066. At this moment, Nanfeng Yunqi was together with Qin Wentian, driving the phoenix boat through the gorge. Other than the two of them, there was another young woman with them. This young woman was none other than Nanfeng Yunqi's protector. She had always been following Nanfeng Yunqi, and her cultivation base was extremely high. There are people chasing after us. There are 3 of them, the disciples of Dong Shangting and the Violet Emperor. One of them has a low cultivation base, only at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation. However, his identity seems to be extraordinary and the person protecting him is extremely powerful. The person beside Nanfeng Yunqi spoke. In that case, Dong Shangting's protector has been intercepted. Qin Wentian's eyes flickered. Can you deal with the protector of Zidi's sect? If we all borrow immortal weapons, even if we can't defeat him, it shouldn't be a problem to delay him. She replied. Right, I will have to trouble Senior to stay behind and attack the protector. You only need to attack Dong Shangting and Zidi's disciples. That protector will definitely delay you. Leave Dong Shangting and Zi Yunwu to me and Yunqi. Qin Wentian spoke. Sure. The protector nodded. After which, his silhouette flickered as he leaped down from the phoenix boat. His immortal might gushed forth as a terrifying shadow phoenix manifested in the air, blocking their path. Dong Shangting and Zi Yunwu's eyes flashed when they saw this scene. The two of them exchanged glances, feeling that things were getting troublesome. If they were blocked by this protector, Qin Wentian might be able to flee. Dong Shangting and Zi Yunwu, who was at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation, were already more than sufficient to kill Qin Wentian and Namhuang Yunqi. In addition, they had many immortal weapons in their hands while the immortal weapons of their opponents were useless. You deal with him, the 2 of us will continue our pursuit. Zi Yunwu decisively commanded. The eyes of the protector flickered as he nodded. Zi Yunwu also had many treasures on him. The 2 of them were in an invincible position. Dong Shangting's flying shuttle took a detour, arcing through the air with lightning speed, causing the Namhuang clan's expert to start. Dong Shangting took the initiative to take a detour and chase after him, saving her the trouble. She only needed to deal with the person in front of her. In the situation where we don't use immortal-ranked weapons, we would still be at a disadvantage against the 2 of them. Dong Shangting is the son of Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, and that young man seems to be the successor of Zidi. He should have many treasures on him. Namhuang Yunqi spoke to Qin Wentian. I know. Qin Wentian nodded. Keep going. All right. Namhuang Yunqi didn't know what Qin Wentian was thinking in his heart. But seeing how confident he was, she knew that he must have a way to deal with Dong Shangting. Qin Wentian, you won't be able to escape. Behind them, a sound wave gushed over, causing the ancient mountains to reverberate. Qin Wentian shuttled through the ancient mountains, occasionally encountering divine aura attacks. However, he guarded his heart and mind, resisting the divine aura attacks. Qin Wentian and his companions arrived at a flat area. His silhouette flickered as he waved his hands. An instant later, a rumbling sound rang out as an incomparably gigantic ancient city floated in the air. This was none other than the Driftsnow city. Qi! Dong Shangting, who was behind them, directly controlled the flying shuttle and soared into the air. The roulette in his hands enlarged, blotting out the skies as its aura swallowed the heavens. Even the Driftsnow city was trembling from the pressure. What grade of immortal-ranked weapon is that? Namhuang Yunqi's beautiful eyes stared up at the air. Dong Shangting's roulette was like the king of weapons, able to devour all immortal-ranked weapons. Rumble! Qin Wentian stepped out as the bell chimes rang out. A fearsome arrow pierced through the air, but Dong Shangting had the roulette in his hands, blocking in front of him. Those immortal-ranked arrows were all sucked into the vortex of the roulette. An incomparably tyrannical devouring energy enveloped the ancient city, causing it to tremble even more violently. Namhuang Yunqi could only keep her phoenix boat. With this in hand, in addition to Dong Shangting's protectors, even if there are as many experts as the clouds in the ancient mountain, it would be as difficult as ascending the heavens to kill him. However, Dong Shangting chose a path of death. Qin Wentian's eyes were cold as killing intent flickered in them. He kept the drifts now city and continued forward with Nam Huang Yunxi. Do you think you can still escape? A cold smile appeared on Dong Shengting's face. His long hair fluttered in the wind, exuding an incomparably tyrannical aura. The roulette shrank as he stepped on his flying shuttle and Zi Yunwu, flying towards Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi. At this distance, Qin Wentian would no longer be able to escape from his grasp. Let's descend. An area surrounded by mountains appeared before them. Qin Wentian brought Nam Huang Yunxi and directly entered. Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu sped ahead and finally, Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi stopped fleeing. Driving the flying shuttle, Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu floated in the air, coldly staring at Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi. Holy Maiden of the Southern Phoenix, there's no need for you to interfere now. Why don't you leave this place? Dong Shengting spoke to Nam Huang Yunxi. Nam Huang Yunxi clearly had an immortal sense in her body. Although immortal sense couldn't exist in this ancient mountain, if he acted against Nam Huang Yunxi, the people of the Nam Huang clan would surely know of it. If not, he would definitely make Nam Huang Yunxi pay a price for her actions. This woman had a lofty status and was also extremely beautiful. Nanfeng Yunxi could sense the evil intent in Dong Shengting's eyes. A cold light flickered in her eyes, but at this moment, Qin Wentian's body trembled violently as he retreated unceasingly. Bolts of lightning seemed to be invading his sea of consciousness. Nanfeng Yunxi inclined her head as her gaze trembled violently. Only now did she discover that the four walls of the mountain actually contained a terrifying divine might, as though they were all divinities. Rumble! She took a step back as she groaned in misery. Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu both felt that something was wrong. The divine essence of this place seemed to be extremely strong. Qin Wentian actually fled to such a place. Don't look at the rampart. Qin Wentian spoke to Nam Huang Yunxi. He didn't even dare to release his perception, or he might be attacked by the divine essence. Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu also discovered this point. They stared at Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi, focusing all their attention on them. Qin Wentian, how do you want to die? Dong Shengting spoke in arrogance. Are you so confident? Qin Wentian stared at Dong Shengting. Back then in front of me, you were merely an ant from a country bumpkin world. Do you really think you can soar to become a dragon with a single leap? You will forever be a lowly existence. Even if you managed to climb up to the Namhuang clan in Qing it would still be a path of death. After you die, I will follow my father to the Evergreen Kingdom and pay a visit to the Azure Emperor. At the same time, I will also take a look at Qing. As Dong Shengting spoke, a pair of gloves appeared in his hands, exuding a powerful immortal might. Dong Shengting, are you so afraid of me? Why must you be so cautious? Qin Wentian laughed mockingly when he saw Dong Shengting's actions. He then turned to Zi Yunwu. Are you Zidi's successor? I'm Zi Yunwu. Zidi is my uncle. Now that Daoyang has fallen, you have to accompany him in death. Zi Yunwu coldly spoke. A towering violet light radiated from him, exuding an indestructible might. This was none other than Zidi's ultimate art, the ultimate violet saint immortal art. Zi Yunwu, who was at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation, unleashed such power. His strength was many times stronger compared to Zi Daoyang. Who is it? At this moment Zi Yunwu abruptly turned his head. After which, he saw a man and a demon walking into this place surrounded by mountains. This man was wearing a bronze mask, and his eyes that were exposed were exceptionally cold. Sir, this matter has nothing to do with you. Leave quickly. Zi Yunwu flicked his sleeves. Bzz. That mysterious figure abruptly released a diagram. This diagram transformed into a gigantic one that soared up into the air, blotting out the sun and sealing the space above. Terrifying black runic light circulated around the diagram, causing Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu to furrow their brows. Dong Shengting waved his hand as the gigantic wheel expanded in size. A terrifying devouring might gushed towards the diagram as a silvery light enveloped it, wanting to devour it whole. However, the devouring might seemed to be blocked by a strange energy. The runic inscriptions on the diagram flowed, sealing the energy that got near it. The roulette actually had no way to devour it. Hand over all your immortal rank treasures to me. The bronze masked man spoke. Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu's countenances sank as cold smiles appeared on their faces. Hand them over to him? How can this be possible? Sir, don't court death. Dong Shengting stared at the bronze-masked man as he threatened. How about we join forces? The bronze-masked man stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. Sure. Qin Wentian nodded. You are courting death. Dong Shengting's expression turned ashen. He stared at Zi Yunwu. Brother Zi, kill him first. I will fight for you. Zi Yunwu nodded. The might of his immortal foundation erupted forth as a terrifying violet giant appeared behind him. His entire body circulated with violet light, containing a supreme might within. Boom! Stepping out, Zi Yunwu stepped towards the bronze-masked man. He lifted his palm and blasted out a violet palm imprint that could destroy everything, exuding a terrifying might. A diagram flew out from the body of the bronze-masked man. It resembled a gigantic yin-yang fish that revolved frenziedly. One yin, one yang, Qiankuan, the 8 trigrams. A powerful sealing energy gushed forth from within, and the diagram seemed to have become a living being. The tyrannical violet palm imprint slammed into the bronze-masked man, shattering the diagram. Seal. Zi Yunwu's eyes flickered. The diagram grew larger and larger, illuminating the air. The incomparably gigantic yin-yang fish swam about as beams of yin-yang light cascaded down on him. He only felt his immortal foundation trembling as a formless sealing energy bore down on him, wanting to seal his immortal foundation. Break! Zi Yunwu roared and stepped out. A long purple spear appeared in his hand. With a loud rumbling sound, he shot it out. The long spear expanded and became tens of feet long. It aimed to kill everything in its path, wanting to pin his opponent to death. Boom! The bronze-masked man blasted out with his palms as a terrifying sealing diagram appeared in front of him. The long spear pierced into the diagram and paused for a moment before a thunderous sound rang out, shattering the seal. The black dog beside the bronze-masked man let out a howl as its body grew incomparably large. It slashed out with its sharp claws, and a similar sealing diagram appeared on its claws. This caused Zi Yunwu's countenance to turn extremely unsightly. This type of power was extremely annoying. Dong Shengting stared at the battle as he furrowed his brows. At this moment, Qin Wentian spoke. I'm afraid it's not possible for you to rely on Zi Yunwu. Dong Shengting's gaze landed on Qin Wentian as his killing intent gushed forth. He coldly spoke, even if I'm alone, do you really think I won't be able to kill you? So confident? After equipping yourself with an immortal-ranked weapon, your guts grew a little bigger. However, your cowardly nature hasn't changed at all. Qin Wentian's countenance turned cold. Dong Shengting was clad in a divine armor, and wielded a spinning disc that could devour immortal-ranked weapons. Both his hands were covered with gloves. He was truly fully equipped. Rumble! Dong Shengting's immortal might erupted forth as he cursed the bronze-masked man in his heart. Initially, it would be extremely easy for him and Zi Yunwu to kill Qin Wentian. But that damnable fellow appeared and changed the situation. But even so, he would still kill Qin Wentian here. The ending wouldn't change. At this moment, the diagram enveloping this entire space unceasingly radiated runic energy. That terrifying sealing energy completely sealed this entire space. Chapter 1067. Dong Shengting naturally also discovered the sealing effect of this treasure. This gigantic diagram contained the ability to seal space. That immortal rank treasure in his hand was something the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor intentionally gave to him. Its grade was exceedingly high, and it wasn't like other attack-type immortal rank treasures that couldn't be controlled. As long as this treasure was activated, it would be able to unleash an overwhelming might, devouring the immortal energy of all immortal rank treasures. Even the attacks of the Driftsnow city wouldn't be able to do anything to it. However, the only reason why it was suppressed was because the surface of the diagram was flowing with sealing energy, causing the immortal energy of the treasure in his hand to have no way to affect it. He had no idea what the identity of this mysterious expert was. He actually wanted to snatch his treasure. But now, he could only kill Qin Wentian first before dealing with that mysterious expert. Boom! Qin Wentian released his immortal foundation. His perfect saint-grade immortal foundation shone with a dazzling immortal light, as rumbling sounds rang out from his body, trembling unceasingly. 10,000 meters of immortal light appeared above Qin Wentian's head as a phenomenon manifested. Beams of immortal light shot towards Dongsheng Ting, transforming into a diagram of different colors. There were swords that could annihilate everything, giants that could suppress everything, ancient halberds that could destroy everything. Dongsheng Ting lifted the spinning wheel in front of him. The terrifying beams of immortal light shot into it, and were all devoured by the spinning wheel. As long as it was immortal energy, it would be devoured. There was simply no solution to this. That old dog Eastern sage is truly willing to part with it. If you die, this powerful immortal rank treasure would be lost as well. Most probably, that old dog Eastern sage would feel heartache for a period of time. Qin Wentian naturally could tell how precious the immortal rank treasure in Dongsheng Ting's hand was. Dongsheng Ting dared to come here because he was relying on this treasure. You are already a person who is about to die, yet you still dare to be so stubborn. Dongsheng Ting's immortal energy seeped into the glove, instantly gushing forth with terrifying might. Dongsheng Ting punched out with rage, transforming into a series of gigantic fists that swept across the heavens and earth, capable of destroying everything. In fact, a terrifying killing intent could be seen flickering within. Rumbling sounds rang out as Qin Wentian's body expanded in size. It was as though he wanted to break through this sealed space. His god's hand blasted out, blotting out the sky as it blasted towards Dongsheng Ting. Since long-range attacks would be devoured by his opponent's treasure, he might as well use his strongest attack. This god's hand truly blotted out the sky, able to cover everything. The roulette in Dongsheng Ting's hand expanded in size, frenziedly devouring the immortal might. With a thunderous boom, the god's hand slammed into the roulette and was forced back. Useless! Qin Wentian roared. He then spoke to Nanfeng Yunxi. Since he is so cowardly, why don't you stand behind him and see how he is going to defend himself? Right. Namhuang Yunxi's silhouette flickered as a pair of phoenix wings appeared on her back. Her entire person was enveloped by a holy phoenix glow as a gigantic phoenix phantom appeared in the air, exuding boundless might. She then circled behind Dongsheng Ting. Since you are so shameless, I won't be polite with you then. Qin Wentian spoke. Nanfeng, use your immortal rank treasure. If he absorbs it, you should do the same. I want to see how fast his movements are. As the sound of his voice faded, a demon sword appeared in Qin Wentian's hand. The demon sword sliced through his finger as fresh blood dripped onto it. Instantly, the demon sword was dyed red as a terrifying demonic might gushed forth, engulfing the heavens and earth. Boom! The demon sword grew incomparably gigantic, perfectly matching Qin Wentian's current size. God's hand grabbed onto the demon sword as a supreme sharpness gushed forth, lacerating everything. Absorb it for me. Dongsheng Ting pointed the roulette wheel at the demon sword in Qin Wentian's hand when he saw this scene. Behind him, Namhuang Yunxi moved like a bolt of lightning. A pair of phoenix wings appeared on her back as a fiery red phoenix spear appeared in her hands. She directly stabbed it towards Dongsheng Ting's back. Towering flames towered up into the sky as the cry of an ancient phoenix rang out. Dongsheng Ting tilted his body and abruptly adjusted the direction of the roulette wheel, aiming it in the direction of Namhuang Yunxi. Boom! Qin Wentian's demon sword ferociously slashed down, wanting to cleave apart the void. The shadow of a towering great rock slammed down, causing Dongsheng Ting's countenance to turn ashen. He hurriedly lifted the roulette wheel to block the attack above his head. Qin Wentian's demon sword directly slashed down, the terrifying might slamming into the roulette wheel. With a thunderous boom, Dongsheng Ting's body was buried deep into the ground. I told you to swallow it. Qin Wentian roared. The demon sword expanded in size once more, piercing through space and slamming into Dongsheng Ting. Dongsheng Ting roared in rage. The demon sword trembled as he struggled to get up. Qin Wentian's body trembled as he directly stepped on the demon's sword. With a thunderous boom, Dongsheng Ting, who wanted to get up, was once again buried deep into the ground as his face turned red. Without these immortal rank treasures, you are nothing but trash. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. On the other side, Zi Yunwu's countenance drastically changed when he saw the situation. He wanted to escape, but the sealing energy of the mysterious masked young man was too terrifying. If he was the slightest bit careless, His immortal energy and immortal foundation would all be sealed. He could only brace himself and continue fighting, not giving his opponent any chance. Nam Huang Yunqi stabbed her phoenix spear towards Dong Shengting. Dong Shengting roared in rage as he punched out with his right fist. Phoenix slash. Nam Huang Yunqi coldly snorted. Countless spear shadows manifested, transforming into numerous phoenixes that smashed apart Dong Shengting's fist light. Qin Wentian's gigantic body appeared directly above Dong Shengting as he stomped down ruthlessly. With a piercing sound, Dong Shengting groaned in agony as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He no longer resisted the pressure and chose to sink deeper into the ground, bringing the roulette wheel along with him. Truly courting death. Qin Wentian coldly laughed when he saw this scene, after which he slammed his fist into the ground, causing the entire earth to tremble violently. The destructive sword might from the impact caused the earth to crumble as countless dust particles floated up into the air. Dong Shengting's figure appeared. His entire body trembled violently as he coughed out blood unceasingly. The demon sword hummed as it flew up. Qin Wentian grabbed the hilt of the sword and slashed downwards. Although Dong Shengting was injured, he could only brace himself and use the immortal rank treasure to block above his head. The terrifying devouring energy caused the demon sword to accelerate even faster, ruthlessly piercing into the roulette wheel, causing Dong Shengting to lose his grip. However, the demon sword actually sank deeper and deeper into the roulette wheel. Swallow it for me. Dong Shengting roared in rage. The roulette wheel transformed into a bottomless pit. Dong Shengting's eyes flashed with a ruthless light. He still placed his hopes on this treasure. Nam Huang Yunqi's silhouette descended once more as the might of her immortal foundation gushed forth. Terrifying phoenixes destroyed everything. Dong Shengting lifted his palms to defend while staring at Nam Huang Yunqi. I have no grudge with the Nam Huang clan. Why must you bully me so much? Rise! Qin Wentian roared in rage. He actually swung the demon sword and smashed it towards the side. With a thunderous boom, Dong Shengting and the roulette wheel were smashed into the runes of the sealing runes. The roulette wheel in his hands finally fell out of his grasp. Qin Wentian kept the demon sword. At this moment, the light from the roulette wheel dimmed. Qin Wentian directly kept it. You. Dong Shengting's eyes turned red as he stared at Qin Wentian. His countenance was as pale as paper. A treasure appeared in his hands and he directly crushed it. An intense spatial light enveloped him as he transformed into a beam of light, wanting to rush out. However, an instant later, a thunderous boom rang out as he was rebounded back. Staring at the runes of the sealing runes, Dong Shengting's countenance turned ashen. This sealing rune seemed to be there to prevent him from escaping. How do you want to die? An expression of mockery appeared on Qin Wentian's face when he saw Dong Shengting's actions. The demon sword expanded in size once more as it slashed out once more, smashing onto Dong Shengting's body. Dong Shengting was once again smashed into the sealing runic inscriptions, causing countless bones in his body to break as he coughed out blood unceasingly. If you dare to kill me, my royal father will spare no cost to kill you. Your family and friends will all die. Dong Shengting howled in rage. What welcomed him was yet another violent attack, causing Dong Shengting's entire body to go limp as he slid down the wall like a corpse. Seems like the immortal sense in your body is a life-saving one. As long as I don't kill you, it won't be triggered. Qin Wentian's eyes were incomparably cold. He stared at Dong Shengting and kept the demon sword. His body also reverted back to its normal size as he flew towards Dong Shengting. Dong Shengting stared at the mocking gaze in Qin Wentian's eyes as he almost went crazy. He was the son of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, a lofty young master of the Dongshengshen Gate. His heart had always been filled with an incomparably strong sense of pride. He looked down on Qin Wentian, but in the depths of his heart, he was jealous of Qin Wentian. He wanted to make use of the opportunity in the ancient mountain to kill Qin Wentian. When he saw Qin Wentian fleeing, he felt very happy, enjoying the feeling of chasing after Qin Wentian. In his eyes, Qin Wentian was like an ant. There was no way for him to escape. But from the looks of things now, everything seemed extremely strange. He felt that something was wrong, but as for what was wrong, he had no way to pinpoint it. Right now, Qin Wentian was looking down on him, trampling on his dignity and controlling his life. You treasure the people of that particle world very much, right? Back then when my royal father led his army to the particle world, I heard that you didn't want to start a war there. If you dare to kill me, my royal father will make sure that everyone you know will be buried together with you. I can guarantee that. Dong Shengting roared. The more you threaten me, the more you tell me how weak you are right now. You want to threaten me, wanting me to spare your lowly life? But do you think it's possible? Qin Wentian mocked. His palms slammed into Dong Shengting's body, controlling his strength perfectly, causing Dong Shengting's bones to shatter unceasingly. His screams of agony rang out unceasingly as he slumped weakly onto the ground. However, he still had a trace of hope. He was an immortal foundation expert. As long as his immortal foundation wasn't broken and he didn't die, he would be able to recover from any injuries. Do you still remember the first time we met? What was the gaze in your eyes when you looked at me? At that time, did you ever imagine that today would come? Qin Wentian spoke. The gaze Dong Shengting used to look at Qin Wentian was the same as the gaze he used to look at Qin Wentian back then. Mockery, disdain, like he was looking at an ant. Before you kill me, my royal father's immortal sense will appear. I bet that you won't dare to kill me. Dong Shengting still wanted to give himself the confidence to live on. Chapter 1068. You are truly confident enough. Qin Wentian laughed mockingly. This Dong Shengting actually thought that he, Qin Wentian, wouldn't dare to kill him in case the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor took revenge on him. Dong Shengting's eyes were fixed on Qin Wentian. When he saw the cold smile on Qin Wentian's face, he felt a chill in his heart. Could it be that Qin Wentian really dared to kill him? As he thought of this, terror appeared in Dong Shengting's heart. However, at this moment, Qin Wentian no longer looked at him. He turned to Nam Huang Yunxi and spoke, Yunxi, look after him. I will go deal with Zi Yunwu. Right. Nam Huang Yunxi nodded. Qin Wentian then walked towards another direction. At this moment, Zi Yunwu was already in a state of panic. The combat methods of the mysterious man before him were too bizarre. Not only that, his immortal foundation was also perfect. That yin-yang fish shot out beams of light, sealing his immortal energy unceasingly, causing him to feel extremely uncomfortable. That black dog was also very powerful. It was like a black specter and its speed was frighteningly fast. Moreover, it was also proficient in sealing power. At this moment, Qin Wentian walked over, causing Zi Yunwu's countenance to turn pale. He stared at the mysterious masked man and spoke, Sir, since you want the immortal weapon, I will give it to you. I gave you a chance earlier. Now I will take it myself. The mysterious man replied in a hoarse voice. Numerous yin-yang fish shot out, sealing the attacks, immortal energy and even immortal foundation of Zi Yunwu. The demon sword in Qin Wentian's hand hummed as the might of his immortal foundation gushed forth. He abruptly rushed out and slashed out with his sword. The shadow of a great rock manifested, transforming into a great rock sword that slashed apart the void. The violet-colored immortal weapon in Zi Yunwu's hand blasted out, blocking Qin Wentian's attack. The sharp claws of the black hound lunged over. Zi Yunwu howled madly as he punched out with his other hand, colliding head-on with the black hound. On the other side, the immortal might of the mysterious masked expert gushed forth as numerous yin-yang fish diagrams gushed into Zi Yunwu's body. Zi Yunwu only felt his immortal energy circulating smoothly as his countenance turned pale. He wanted to retract his palm, yet he only saw Qin Wentian laughing. The demon sword in his hand unleashed a terrifying storm of sword qi, lacerating everything as it pierced towards him. Zi Yunwu took out a life-saving spatial treasure. Just like Dong Shengting, he wanted to flee. A beam of light shot up into the clouds, but Zi Yunwu didn't move at all. That spatial energy was blocked by the sealing energy in the air. He had no way to exit. At this moment, the mysterious bronze-masked expert directly imprinted his palm on Zi Yunwu's body. A huge yin-yang fish diagram drilled into Zi Yunwu's body, and the immortal light on Zi Yunwu's body dimmed. The bronze-masked expert blasted out with both palms as the immortal light from his immortal foundation flowed unceasingly into Zi Yunwu's body. Gradually, the immortal might radiating from Zi Yunwu dissipated. His immortal foundation was actually sealed by the yin-yang fish diagram. Whatever you want, I will give it to you. If you kill me, my uncle will never spare you. Zi Yunwu roared at the bronze-masked expert. As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wentian's demon sword was already pressed against his neck. Zi Yunwu's countenance was as pale as paper. He turned his head and stared at Qin Wentian. "What about me?" Qin Wentian smiled at Zi Yunwu. But when this smile landed on Zi Yunwu's face, it seemed extremely bizarre. "Everything in the past shall be written off." Zi Yunwu spoke to Qin Wentian. "Are you joking with me?" Qin Wentian spoke. "I didn't say to kill Zi Daoyang, yet you guys want my life? You don't have the guts to slaughter your way to the Myriad Devil Islands? Seems like you guys think that I, Qin Wentian, am a pushover. As for writing off everything, who do you think you are? Are you qualified to make the decision for Zidi?" "I will plead with my uncle for mercy," Zi Yunwu replied. Qin Wentian had a mocking smile on his face. He stared at the demon sword on Zi Yunwu's neck as he spoke. "Do you think Zidi's immortal sense would be able to react in time if I slash down with this sword?" Zi Yunwu's countenance turned pale. "However, I don't have much interest in this." Qin Wentian had a devilish smile on his face. That bronze-masked figure had already started to collect all the treasures and interspatial rings on Zi Yunwu's body. After that, he walked towards Dongsheng Ting. Nam Huang Yunqi stared at the mysterious bronze-masked figure, as a look of bewilderment flashed in her eyes. Her beautiful eyes turned to Qin Wentian only to see Qin Wentian nodding his head to her before stepping aside, allowing the bronze-masked figure to collect the treasures on Dongsheng Ting's body. "Spare me and help me kill Qin Wentian. I guarantee that you will obtain even more treasures in the future." Dongsheng Ting spoke in a low voice to the bronze-masked figure, tempting him to deal with Qin Wentian. However, the bronze-masked figure merely glanced at him coldly, ignoring him. "I'm the son of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. As long as you do as I say, I won't go back on my words," Dongsheng Ting continued. However, he only saw the bronze-masked figure stretching out his hand and supporting his head, as though he was dragging a pet. Dongsheng Ting's countenance turned extremely ugly to behold. As the son of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, how lofty a status was he? Yet now, he was actually being dragged on the ground by someone else. The bronze-masked figure dragged Dongsheng Ting to a location not far away from Zi Yunwu and tossed him there, as though he was a dead dog. "What do you want?" Dongsheng Ting's body trembled slightly. Being humiliated in such a manner, he could faintly sense that he was walking step by step towards death. Nobody bothered with him. He only saw the mocking look in Qin Wentian's eyes. Qin Wentian's gaze was filled with coldness when he stared at the two of them. "Since this is the case, let them pay the price for it." "Yunqi." Qin Wentian turned his gaze to Nam Huang Yunqi. Nam Huang Yunqi walked over. Even now, she was filled with bewilderment in her heart. Why was Qin Wentian so confident that he would be able to kill Zi Yunwu and Dongsheng Ting? One must know that Qin Wentian had always held the advantage. Also, why did that bronze-masked figure appear at such a timely time? When he was dealing with Zi Yunwu and Dongsheng Ting, why didn't he have the slightest intention to rob Qin Wentian and Qin Wentian? In fact, he even cooperated with her and Qin Wentian. This caused many questions to appear in Nam Huang Yunqi's heart. When Zi Yunwu and Dongsheng Ting saw that the bronze-masked figure was methodically punishing them while Qin Wentian stood at the side and watched on, the two of them suddenly felt a chill running down their spines as a chill ran down their spines. Dongsheng Ting stared fixedly at Qin Wentian and the bronze-masked figure. Did they know each other? "Who are you?" Dongsheng Ting's eyes turned ashen as he stared at the bronze-masked figure. Evidently, he had thought of something. How could everything be so coincidental? Sealing this space, cutting off their path of retreat. Was this really a coincidence? "You guys." Zi Yunwu also felt his entire body turning cold. However, he only saw the bronze-masked man walking in front of him and directly slamming his palm onto Zi Yunwu's body. A powerful sealing energy frenziedly permeated into Zi Yunwu's body. Zi Yunwu only felt that his immortal energy was completely sealed as a powerful sealing energy ravaged his body. Very swiftly, Zi Yunwu felt that his entire body was filled with sealing runes. "What are you doing?" Zi Yunwu wanted to speak, but he gradually discovered that he couldn't even speak. His entire person seemed to have fallen into a sealing curse as a sense of fear of death involuntarily rose in his heart. He no longer had the slightest bit of hope as his entire body trembled uncontrollably. Dongsheng Ting stood at the side and watched on. His entire body was limp and he too was trembling. It was as though he knew that the god of death was nearing him step by step. Qin Wentian stared at Dong Shengting, and coincidentally, Dong Shengting was also looking at him. Qin Wentian, please spare me this time. In the future, I will definitely not find trouble with you again. Dong Shengting's voice was filled with terror. He finally admitted defeat, and no longer dared to use a threatening tone to speak to Qin Wentian. Instead, he was pleading. Didn't you say that I would die for sure in the ancient mountain? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Spare him? If the one who lost was him, Qin Wentian, there was no doubt that he would be killed mercilessly by Dong Shengting. He even threatened to kill the people of the light particle world, and said that he would head to the Evergreen Kingdom to pay a visit to Qing. Did he, Dong Shengting, still want to live? I admit that we had some conflicts in the past, but everything is over now. As long as you spare me, I can guarantee that I will persuade my father to let bygones be bygones. Dong Shengting was truly panicking. His voice was extremely weak. Persuade your father to let bygones be bygones? A cold smile appeared on Qin Wentian's face. Sadly, I don't intend to spare that old dog Eastern sage. After speaking, he turned to Nam Huang Yunqi and spoke, Yunqi, let's go. Nam Huang Yunqi started before nodding her head. After which, Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunqi soared into the air. With a wave of his hand, an opening appeared in the void as Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunqi walked out from it. Dong Shengting stared fixedly at the bronze-masked man. Who are you exactly? No matter what you want, I can agree to it as long as you spare me. The bronze-masked man walked to his side, and just like how he dealt with Zi Yunwu, he placed a palm imprint on Dong Shengting's body. Very swiftly, Dong Shengting's entire body was covered with terrifying sealing runes. After doing all this, the bronze-masked man waved his hands as the sealing runes on the 4 mountain ramparts faded away, revealing the majestic divine essence of the ramparts. He and the Black Hound floated up and flew towards one of the ramparts, leaving behind Zi Yunwu and Dong Shengting. The two of them had no way to speak. They were filled with despair as though they were waiting for the best execution. The bronze-masked man waved his hand and gathered his immortal power into an arrow, aiming it at Zi Yunwu. No! Zi Yunwu wanted to scream, but he found that he couldn't make a sound. Bzz! The arrow pierced through the air, aiming for Zi Yunwu's heart. An incomparably tyrannical might directly bore down on him, and with a piercing sound, the arrow pierced through. A terrifying aura gushed forth as the tyrannical figure of the Violet Emperor descended. He roared in rage, and with a single glance, he saw the mysterious figure in the bronze mask, as well as the mountain rampart behind him. That powerful divine sense instantly gushed forth, rushing into the immortal sense of the Violet Emperor. The immortal sense of the Violet Emperor grabbed Zi Yunwu and soared up into the air, wanting to flee. However, at the next instant, the killing intent of the divine aura gushed forth, causing the immortal sense of the Violet Emperor to crumble apart. Zi Yunwu's body plummeted downwards from the air. He still had a breath of life left in him, but at this moment numerous arrows of destruction shot towards him, piercing into his immortal foundation, his heart and his head, nailing him to the ground. Dong Shengting closed his eyes. He didn't dare to look at this scene. His entire body was limp, and after that the arrow shot out once again. My son! The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's immortal sense appeared. When he saw Dong Shengting's miserable state as well as that bronze-masked man, his immortal sense flickered with boundless killing intent as he directly attacked the bronze-masked man. But similarly, he didn't manage to escape from the divine essence of the ancient mountain. Dong Shengting was in despair. At this moment, he was so frightened that his soul left his body. He saw the bronze-masked man walking towards him, his cold eyes resembling the eyes of the Grim Reaper. Dong Shengting's lips moved as though he wanted to ask, "Who are you? Tell me, who am I?" The bronze-masked man spoke. This time around he spoke in a normal voice. Upon hearing this voice, as well as the mocking gaze in his eyes, Dong Shengting felt as though his soul had fallen into the depths of hell. Even when he died, he didn't close his eyes. Chapter 1069. At the God Hand Mountain Manor, a terrifying aura engulfed everything. A figure soared up into the air, exuding towering rage. At this instant it was as though doomsday had arrived. My son! the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor appeared in the air. With a roar of rage, his robes fluttered in the wind as a supreme immortal might bore down on this entire space. After which, he took a step out and sped towards the ancient mountain. Rumble! In the direction of the God Hand Mountain Manor, towering violet chi filled the air. Ziti stood there, similarly exuding a violent rage that permeated this entire space, exuding a stifling pressure. The experts of the God Hand Mountain Manor all had looks of shock on their faces as they stared at Ziti and the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. What happened exactly? Why were these two immortal emperors so enraged? Earlier, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor shouted, "My son." Could it be that something happened to Dongsheng Ting? The possibility of this was very high. But why was Ziti so enraged as well? They really wanted to know what happened exactly in the ancient mountain. Sadly, they could only guess. They saw Dongsheng Ting crazily killing his way into the ancient mountain, causing thunderous rumbling sounds to echo out. However, he still couldn't do anything and was forced back by the ancient mountain. This made everyone sigh in admiration at how tyrannical ancient Emperor Yi was. Back then when ancient Emperor Yi was still alive, how terrifying was he exactly? Who knows who that bronze-masked man is? Which power does he belong to? Whoever can tell me will be heavily rewarded. The Violet Emperor's voice was cold to the extreme, his gaze sweeping across the crowd. Momentarily, the expressions of the crowd flickered as they recalled who the Violet Emperor was talking about. That person wore a bronze mask, and had always been mysterious and low profile. He brought a black dog with him into the ancient mountain, and as for who he was, nobody knew. I will also heavily reward you. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor stepped back, exuding a terrifying killing intent. He stared at everyone as his eyes turned red. He personally witnessed the miserable state of his son, Dongsheng Ting. Dongsheng Ting was almost crippled, lying limply on the ground, brutally killed. He could see the despair in Dongsheng Ting's eyes, as well as the pleading for his life. However, it was useless. He was a lofty immortal emperor of the immortal realms, yet he had no way to save his son. He gave Dongsheng Ting a powerful immortal rank treasure, and allowed many immortal foundation experts of the Dongshengshan Gate to accompany him, because he wanted to ensure that Dongsheng Ting wouldn't meet with any mishaps in the ancient mountain. However, never in his wildest dreams did the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor expect such an ending. His son died in the hands of an unknown mysterious person. Everyone was speechless. No one knew who the mysterious man with the bronze mask was. They didn't know where he came from, who his master was, or which force he belonged to. An expression of interest appeared on the Emperor of Qianbian's face. Seems like Dongsheng Ting had died and the person who killed him was actually that mysterious masked young man. At this moment, the gaze of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor abruptly turned over, landing on the Emperor of Qianbian as he coldly asked, "This man is extremely mysterious. Emperor of Qianbian, is he someone from your immortal Qianbian Gate?" An expression of ridicule appeared on the Emperor of Qianbian's face. "Dongsheng Ting, do you like to vent your anger on others so much? I actually hope that the person who killed Dongsheng Ting was someone from my immortal Qianbian Gate. The protection you gave Dongsheng Ting must be extraordinary. The person who killed him must be an extraordinary character. In addition, there are so many experts protecting Dongsheng Ting." The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's expression turned cold. Qianbian was right. There were so many experts protecting Dongsheng Ting. Why did things turn out like this? What exactly happened in the ancient mountain? The Violet Emperor also didn't understand. Their immortal senses could sense a powerful sealing energy. That was a gigantic sealing diagram, a powerful immortal rank treasure, capable of sealing this entire space. Who was it that possessed such a powerful sealing treasure? He had no idea. "My son, I will definitely take revenge for you." Dongsheng Ting clenched his fists tightly as killing intent gushed forth. He glanced in the direction of Emperor Yu, his eyes filled with unfriendliness. Emperor Yu didn't seem to notice and continued to drink his wine while chatting with the people around him. He had already warned everyone that there would be dangers if they entered the ancient mountain. Since they chose to enter, how could they vent their anger on him after Dongsheng Ting died? However, the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor had lost a son. Most probably, he wouldn't be happy to see anyone. This bunch of bastards. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor thought of those who protected Dongsheng Ting. A bunch of trash, all of them deserve to die. Within the ancient mountain, those experts who were being held back by the Namhuang clan and the immortal Qianbian Gate would never have imagined that the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor actually had killing intent towards them. Although they couldn't be blamed for failing to protect their young lord, it was very normal for the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor to vent his anger on them. Such incidents were too common in the immortal realms. If they knew that Dongsheng Ting had been killed, they would surely be so frightened that they wouldn't dare to exit the ancient mountain. At this moment, Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi had already left the place where Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu died. There was no need for him to worry anymore. At this moment, Nam Huang Yunxi's beautiful eyes landed on Qin Wentian's handsome face as she asked, "Are you acquainted with him? What do you think?" Qin Wentian smiled at Nam Huang Yunxi. He knew that he naturally wouldn't be able to hide this from Nam Huang Yunxi completely. "You seem to be fleeing, but in truth, you were waiting for him to fall into your trap. That man's sealing abilities are so strong, and he even has a terrifying treasure. Is he your friend? Who is he?" Nam Huang Yunxi felt extremely curious. "Yunxi, it's good that you know about this matter." Qin Wentian smiled at Nam Huang Yunxi but didn't say anything. Nam Huang Yunxi smiled and nodded. Right now, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor doesn't even know how Dongsheng Ting died. "You must have done this intentionally, right? Why don't you guess?" Qin Wentian and Nam Huang Yunxi exchanged mutual glances. There was no need for words to be spoken. Nam Huang Yunxi naturally understood that she wouldn't mention this matter to others. After all, she was a participant in the deaths of Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with coldness. He did this because he didn't want the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi to know how their descendants died. He didn't directly kill Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu. Although he had already offended the two immortal emperors, regardless of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor or Zidi, they still left some leeway. At the very least, these two immortal emperors wouldn't personally act to kill him. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor didn't personally kill him mainly because the immortal emperors of the immortal Qianbian Gate and the Dongshengshen Gate couldn't interfere. If not, the Emperor Qianbian could also kill his subordinates. Secondly, he had to consider his status. Zidi didn't personally act because there was no reason for him to do so. He, Qin Wentian, had only defeated Zi Daoyang in the city of ancient emperors. It was fine for him, Zidi, to order his subordinates to kill him. But if an immortal emperor personally killed the disciple of the Emperor Qianbian, Qin Wentian, because of such a minor matter, how would the people of the immortal realms view him, Zidi? Qin Wentian lacked a reason for the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi to personally kill him. And if they personally witnessed Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu dying in the hands of Qin Wentian, this reason would be sufficient. Even for immortal emperors, they might disregard their status and act to kill Qin Wentian. If that was the case, Qin Wentian would place himself in an extremely dangerous situation. If he could avoid this, Qin Wentian would naturally avoid putting himself in danger. This was the reason why Qin Wentian asked Ditian to come here. When Dongsheng Ting wanted to take his life in the ancient mountain, didn't he also have the same thoughts? He wanted to make sure Dongsheng Ting wouldn't be able to leave this place. After this matter, Ditian could vanish again. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor and Zidi wouldn't be able to find him. Nobody would know that Ditian was him. The only people who knew that the two of them were in contact with each other were those from the royal sacred sect. Holy Maiden. As the two of them moved through the ancient mountain, a voice drifted over. It was none other than the protector of Nam Huang Yunxi earlier. Upon seeing that both Nam Huang Yunxi and Qin Wentian were safe, she immediately rushed over. "Are the others not here yet?" Nam Huang Yunxi asked. "They should still be fighting." That protector replied. After all, the immortal war between both sides wouldn't end so quickly. "Let's go back and take a look." Nam Huang Yunxi spoke. After that, she steered the Phoenix boat forward and as expected, they encountered a group of immortal emperors on their way back. "Are you all right?" That disciple from the heavenly talisman realm who was clad in diamond armor asked when he saw Qin Wentian returning. "Isn't this good?" Qin Wentian shrugged and smiled. "What about Dongsheng Ting and that man from the Zidi sect? Were they shaken off?" That protector asked as he fought. "The treasure on Dongsheng Ting is simply too powerful. In addition, he has many immortal ranked weapons on him. Yunxi and I were chased all the way and ended up in a miserable state. However, that expert in the mask is also an extraordinary character. He actually has an extremely powerful sealing treasure that can suppress Dongsheng Ting. That protector must have eyed the treasure on Dongsheng Ting and decided to intercept Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu. Since that space was sealed, I think Dongsheng Ting's situation is extremely grim. Qin Wentian spoke in a clear voice, as though he was intentionally saying this for the people of the Dongshengshan Gate and Zidi sect to hear. And indeed their countenances changed. An expert from the Dongshengshan Gate coldly spoke. His Highness Ting's treasure was intentionally given to him by the immortal emperor himself. How can it be suppressed? Stop your nonsense. Qin Wentian mockingly glanced at that person. I'm not talking to you, why are you interrupting? As for Dongsheng Ting, you guys can think whatever you want. He is unrivaled under the heavens, unrivaled. You guys can just wait for his return in peace. That person's countenance changed when he saw the mocking smile on Qin Wentian's face. After which, he spoke, let's leave. As he spoke, the people around him frenziedly attacked, increasing the distance between them. After which, they all retreated in a single direction before departing at the same time. Even Qin Wentian had returned but Dongsheng Ting and Zi Yunwu didn't appear. This matter was truly strange. Senior brother. From afar, Jun Mengchen and Purgatory flew over, as well as the experts from the Namhuang clan. Why aren't they fighting anymore? Dongsheng Ting is in trouble. Qin Wentian laughed. That disciple from the heavenly talisman realm who transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian earlier to hunt down Dongsheng Ting cast a deep glance at Qin Wentian, but he didn't say anything. Let's continue moving out. Many people have already entered the depths of the ancient mountain. The battles here have already wasted a lot of time. Someone spoke. Qin Wentian glanced over. The people from the Jiang clan weren't here. Evidently, they had all gone to search for the divine essence of God's hand. That was their true purpose for entering the ancient mountain. This ancient mountain is so deep that we can't see the bottom. It's extremely mysterious. Everyone be careful. Qin Wentian spoke. Before this, he had already lured Dongsheng Ting into several parts of the ancient mountain, but he still felt that he had only entered a small corner. This place where the inheritance left behind by ancient Emperor Yi wasn't so simple. Chapter 1070. Within the ancient mountain, everyone went deeper and deeper. There were countless experts gathered at the God Hand Mountain Manor, all of them waiting for the movements of the ancient mountain. However, the ancient mountain was completely silent. Outside the ancient mountain, no sound could be heard. Occasionally, there would be a few people coming out, but they were all stellar martial cultivators who didn't manage to gain anything. Many people stared at Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu calmly enjoyed the immortal banquet, as though he was long prepared to wait. Most probably, only Emperor Yu knew of the secret of the ancient mountain. How deep is this ancient mountain exactly? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor asked Emperor Yu. His voice filled with coldness. He was waiting for the mysterious masked man to come out and kill him, taking revenge for Dongsheng Ting. But now that masked man seemed to be an eternity away. He simply didn't want to wait any longer. He wanted to kill his way into the ancient mountain. You can't enter, I can't enter as well. How would I know? Emperor Yu calmly replied, acting all mysterious. You established the God Hand Mountain Manor and guarded it for so many years. How could you not know the secret of the ancient mountain? Do you know how to enter the ancient mountain but you intentionally hid it? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor questioned. Eastern Sage. Emperor Yu inclined his head. His white hair fluttered in the wind as he coldly spoke. I've long warned you. If your son enters the ancient mountain, he would definitely die. But you still insisted on letting him in. This is your choice. Now that he is dead, don't vent your anger on this old man. Forgive me for not accompanying you. Emperor Yu, you keep trying to act mysterious. In fact, I even suspect that you are the one controlling the ancient mountain. What secrets does this ancient mountain contain exactly? Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had an unfriendly look in his eyes as he interrogated. His aura gushed forth, instantly causing a stifling pressure to envelop this entire space. When an immortal emperor was enraged, it would definitely be extremely terrifying. Emperor Yu stared at Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. Finally, he spat out a single word, scram. Boom! As the sound of Emperor Yu's voice rang out, Terrifying currents of qi gushed forth from the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor, transforming into a terrifying tempest. His body shone with a divine light, containing a supreme might. He walked out step by step, and with each step he took, the hearts of the crowd pounded as though they were about to shatter. Deep footprints could be seen on the ground. The immortal emperors and immortal kings in the surroundings hurriedly acted to protect their subordinates. As for those without any background, they started to retreat. If immortal emperors were to act here, just the aftershocks alone would be enough to annihilate them. Because of Dongsheng Ting's death, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's temper was extremely bad right now. He radiated a sense of anger that could erupt at any moment. Emperor Yu was an extremely ancient immortal emperor, and had lived for countless years. He could be considered a senior of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. Now that the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor was being so overbearing, no matter how good his temper was, he was still enraged. Finally, he spat out the word scram. An emperor-ranked battle could erupt at any moment. Emperor Yu sat there, radiating a divine light as well. Emperor Yu was clad in white armor as his white hair fluttered in the wind. Although he was sitting there, he exuded a terrifying imposingness. His gaze was like an unsheathed sword as he stared at the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. At this moment, this old man exuded a supreme magnificence. The mysterious Emperor Yu of the immortal realms. I wonder how strong he is now. The Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor spoke as he continued forward. The earth trembled as though there was a unique rhythm to it. The Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor's body glowed with a resplendent light. His right hand clenched into a fist as a beam of light appeared on it. Everywhere the fist light passed by, cracks would appear as the earth was split apart by the fist light. It was simply terrifying. Emperor Yu's palm shone with resplendent light as a terrifying might gushed forth from him. The immortal light radiating from him was boundlessly powerful, akin to the blazing sun. He stood up and stretched out his palm, akin to the hand of a divinity. Boom! Emperor Yu soared up into the air, instantly appearing in the air. If they fought on the ground, a single strike from the two of them would be enough to destroy the God Hand Mountain Manor. Boom! The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor also soared up into the air. His fist slammed into the ground, causing a terrifying crack to appear. The two of them stood in the air facing each other. God's hand. The gazes of everyone stared at Emperor Yu's arm. Boundless light radiated from it, resembling a true God's hand. An arrow appeared in his hand, pulsing with destructive light that could destroy everything. The arrow shot out tens of thousands of meters, locking onto the body of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. Finally, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor acted. He punched out, causing the sky to tremble unceasingly. Tens of thousands of fist lights transformed into a destructive might, enveloping the entire space. The crowd below stared in shock at this scene. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor punched out, locking down the entire space, wanting to destroy everything. At the same time, Emperor Yu's arrow shot out. At the instant the arrow shot out, an incomparably gigantic winged demon appeared in the air, blotting out the sun. The boundless fist light collided with the gigantic greater demon, causing an earth-shattering sound to echo out. However, the arrow that the winged demon was protecting was destroyed. It penetrated through everything and vanished from sight. However, the crowd only saw the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor explosively retreating. He suddenly vanished from his original location, retreating extremely far away. At the same time, he blasted out another fist light. This fist light was incomparably gigantic, akin to a constellation. It could easily destroy an entire city, causing the spectators below to stare dumbfoundedly as their hearts trembled. A beam of light shot out, shattering the gigantic fist light. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's body trembled violently once more as he stabbed out with a finger. In front of his finger, that terrifying arrow finally stopped and was destroyed. However, the expression on the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's face turned extremely heavy. He stared at the white-haired old man standing far away. Right now, Emperor Yu was brimming with health and vigor, resembling a supreme battle emperor. He didn't seem like a white-haired old man at the end of his life at all. Eastern Sage, show some respect in front of this senior. If you dare to be disrespectful again in the future, scram the hell out of the God Hand Mountain Manor. The old man calmly spoke, his voice echoing through the heavens and earth. After that, his body floated down, returning to the banquet in the God Hand Mountain manner. His aura vanished as he once again transformed into an old man with the demeanor of a transcendent being. He calmly drank his wine as though nothing had happened. It was simply hard to imagine that this old man was able to traverse such a vast distance in the blink of an eye and shoot out an arrow that could destroy the heavens and earth. Ziti, the Ying clan, Zhang clan, and the other immortal emperors stared at Emperor Yu as their eyes gleamed. This low-profile and mysterious Emperor Yu wasn't weak. It was because he truly lived a life of seclusion. Clearly, his strength was so tyrannical, yet no one knew of him. All of them were speculating what level of cultivation base Emperor Yu was at exactly. Did Emperor Yu break through to the peak stage of the immortal emperor realm? The beautiful eyes of the Nam Huang clan's Nanfeng Guhong flashed with a bright light. However, there was no shock on her face, as though she wasn't surprised by Emperor Yu's strength. The Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor floated down, his countenance extremely unsightly to behold. This time around, his son Dongshengting died in the ancient mountain. As for him, his attack was broken apart by a single arrow from Emperor Yu, and he was humiliated. Courting your own humiliation? The Emperor Qianbian laughed. He and Dongsheng Heaven Emperor were rivals. He naturally wouldn't care about Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's face. Emperor Yu truly hit his strength deeply. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor coldly spoke, his tone unfriendly. But ultimately, he didn't say anything disrespectful. Emperor Yu used his strength to show him what respect was. If it wasn't for the fact that he was waiting for that mysterious masked man to kill him, he wouldn't have stayed here any longer. This short instant of battle also caused the people in the God Hand Mountain manor to sigh in admiration. The immortal realms were filled with geniuses. Experts were as common as the clouds. Don't think that some low-profile immortal emperors are weak. This Emperor Yu only used a single arrow to stun the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. His strength was extraordinary, and in the immortal realms, there should be many immortal emperors who lived in seclusion. Although this battle only lasted for a single strike, the commotion caused by it was extremely great. Everyone in a radius of a few thousand miles could see it. However, the people in the ancient mountain couldn't see anything at all. One couldn't help but to say that the ancient mountain was extremely mysterious. Qin Wentian and the others have already been in the depths of the ancient mountain for several days. After a period of increasing their speed, they slowed down again. This was because in the depths of the ancient mountain, there would be a formless divine aura gushing forth unceasingly, directly imprinting itself into the minds of everyone, causing their bodies to tremble. In addition, the deeper they advanced, the more intense this feeling became. What sort of character is this ancient emperor exactly? Nanfeng Shunga sighed in a low voice. Being able to use the divine aura to obstruct the immortal emperors outside the ancient mountain, he must be extremely powerful. I know a piece of news. You can imagine how powerful he is. Nam Huang Yunqi smiled. What news? Nanfeng Shunga curiously asked. Qin Wentian also glanced at Nam Huang Yunqi. Emperor Yu. Before he became an immortal emperor, no one knew of his existence. He is extremely mysterious and unfathomable. In fact, no one even knows of his name. That's because he has never roamed the immortal realms before, and has no name. He is a servant of ancient Emperor Yi. Nam Huang Yunqi spoke, her words causing the eyes of Qin Wentian, Nanfeng Shunga and the others to flash. A powerful immortal emperor like Emperor Yu was merely a servant of ancient Emperor Yi? No wonder he would protect the ultimate art of ancient Emperor Yi. So this is the case. Nanfeng Shunga spoke in a light voice. Qin Wentian also believed that Nam Huang Yunqi's words were true. This should be something the Phoenix Ancestor told her. The Phoenix Ancestor was also a supreme saint beast that has lived for countless years. What's that? At this moment, Jun Mingchen turned his gaze ahead. There were 5 gigantic peaks that towered so high that they pierced the skies. 5 fingers. These 5 ancient peaks are like the 5 fingers of a palm. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. God's hand 5-finger peaks. Could it be that the divine energy originated from there? Not only were there 5 fingers, but there was also a palm below the 5 fingers. We will know once we take a look. Nanfeng Shunga smiled. The group of them continued forward, but their speed grew slower and slower. A whistling sound rang out. Qin Wentian only saw a palm imprint of divine energy directly slamming into his body, causing his body to tremble. At this moment, the immortal foundation might of everyone in the group gushed forth as they advanced forward. However, the number of people in the group continued to decrease. Finally, they passed through several ancient mountains and saw the gigantic peaks. At this instant, they only felt a formless divine energy blotting out the sun as it blasted towards them. Careful! Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. Every step they took was already extremely difficult. Now that they suddenly experienced an even stronger formless attack, it was extremely dangerous. Chapter 1071. In front of Qin Wentian and the others, below the five-fingered gigantic mountain, there was indeed a palm. This was a terrifying gigantic palm that blotted out the skies, wanting to shatter the dome of the heavens. At the instant Qin Wentian's gaze landed on it, numerous formless diagrams abruptly blasted towards him. This was truly a supremely powerful palm imprint. Boom! Qin Wentian radiated a terrifying immortal might as the power of his immortal foundation gushed forth. The immortal energy in his body gushed forth like tidal waves, emitting rumbling sounds. The formless diagrams directly penetrated through everything, slamming into his body, causing him to groan in misery as he was forced to retreat repeatedly. The other participants all suffered the same attack the instant they stepped out. There were even some who coughed out blood as their immortal foundation trembled violently. They have all arrived. Nam Huangyunqi spoke. In front of the gigantic palm imprint, there were experts from the Jiang clan, Ying clan, as well as many geniuses from the immortal realms. They were all seated cross-legged in different locations, as though they were trying to comprehend the essence of the palm imprint. This is clearly something that can be broken. Everyone be careful and get used to the essence of this attack. Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. He stepped out once more, and this time around, the immortal light radiating from him grew even more intense. At the instant he stepped out, the formless attack blasted over. Qin Wentian's entire body shimmered with a dazzling light as he defended against it. Groaning in misery, he took another step forward as an intense reaction erupted from his body. All the immortal energy in his body was churning as his immortal foundation revolved frenziedly. Boom! Stepping out heavily, Qin Wentian's body was like a perfect fiend god body. He allowed the attacks of the essence to land on him as he steadily advanced forward. The reaction in his body grew increasingly intense, as though his body was about to shatter apart. His meridians were also trembling violently. Behind him, Nam Huangyunqi and the others followed behind, advancing step by step with great difficulty. Jiang Ziyu stared at Qin Wentian as a smile flickered in his eyes. As expected, Qin Wentian didn't die. It's just that he didn't know what happened to Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu, who chased after him. Yingting frowned as he glanced at these people. He only saw that Qin Wentian was the first to walk to a rock at the side and actually sat down cross-legged. The might of his immortal foundation circulated unceasingly as his body grew stronger and stronger. Nam Huangyunqi and the others entered the hall and found themselves a place to sit down. They closed their eyes and comprehended the impact of the divine charms. It felt like there was no end to it. Each of them had an immortal glow circulating around their bodies as their bodies underwent some changes. Where exactly is the secret behind Emperor Yi's ultimate art? This divine charm is no longer present and is getting weaker and weaker. Yingting stared ahead as he sighed. He had already reached this point. The heaven-connecting palm and the five-fingered mountain seemed to be the true soul of the ancient mountain. However, he had no clue as to the secret behind God's hand. Qin Wentian sat there as the divine charms continued to descend. The terrifying immortal energy in his body trembled, wanting to shatter his immortal body. Behind him, there were some who couldn't withstand the pressure and were retreating, preparing to leave this place. They felt that if they persisted any longer, their bodies would directly explode and they would die. If one wanted to cultivate powerful ultimate arts, it seems like one's physique had to be strong enough to support it. When one stepped into the immortal realm, everyone would have the opportunity to establish their own immortal foundation, as well as the opportunity to cleanse their bodies. The reaction within Qin Wentian's body grew more and more intense, akin to the roar of mountains and the roar of tsunamis. Rumbling sounds rang out as boundless immortal energy seemed to form a world within his body. Qin Wentian's eyes were tightly shut, but he gradually felt as though his eyes were open. That gigantic palm contained boundless divine charms that blasted out unceasingly, wanting to destroy his body. After many days, many people retreated from this place. However, they didn't give up completely and tried to return. After several failures, there were some who succeeded, but they still had no way to comprehend God's hand. The ultimate arts of ancient emperors were simply too difficult to cultivate. I suspect that Emperor Yu has been lying to us from the start. What he gave us wasn't the complete version of God's hand. Even if we accept the baptism of the divine charms, it would still be useless. At this moment, someone spoke, suspecting Emperor Yu. Many people frowned. The God's hand that Emperor Yu imparted to them seemed to be the complete version. Maybe their comprehension abilities weren't high enough. If they wanted to successfully cultivate the true version of God's hand, they would need an extremely high level of comprehension. Just because you guys are unable to comprehend it doesn't mean that Emperor Yu lied to you. Jiang Ziyu calmly spoke, his words causing many to glance at him. Yingting then spoke, in that case, you Jiang Ziyu are able to comprehend it? Jiang Ziyu smiled but didn't reply. His gaze then turned to Qin Wentian. In this place, only Qin Wentian cultivated God's hand. His hope should be the greatest. Regardless of whether others believed it or not, Jiang Ziyu still believed that Emperor Yu didn't lie to them. Since he was the protector of this ultimate art, there was no need for Emperor Yu to obstruct others from obtaining it. This wasn't in line with his duty as protector of this ultimate art. As the divine essence gushed forth unceasingly, Qin Wentian's God's hand blasted into his body. The immortal energy in his body circulated automatically, transforming into different runic diagrams. As his body transformed in his perception, the gigantic palm before him was no longer dim and lusterless. Instead, it was radiating boundless divine light. That divine essence was extremely vivid and lifelike, and there was even a diagram that appeared and disappeared in and out of existence. However, he couldn't see clearly what diagram it was. He only felt that it was extremely mysterious. Qin Wentian gradually sensed that the divine essence of this gigantic palm was extremely bewitching. Maybe this towering palm was in existence meant to bewitch everyone. He continued to sense the blurry diagram as the light from the gigantic palm blasted into his body. The him at this moment had already forgotten the passage of time. Unknowingly, over 30 days have already passed and he was still immersed in it, unable to extricate himself. Beside Qin Wentian, Nam Huang Yunxi, Jun Mengchen and the others all opened their eyes. The divine essence gradually weakened. This point was actually similar to what Shaolin Yue and the others encountered back then in the city of ancient emperors. Should we go to other places to take a look? At this moment, Yingting stood up and spoke. The divine essence of the gigantic palm was faintly discernible. He had no way to circulate God's hand and it was basically meaningless to stay here. He seems to still be comprehending. At this moment, someone glanced at Qin Wentian and spoke, deliberately mystifying things. Yingting's arrogant eyes flashed with a hint of suspicion. There were many geniuses here. There were members of his Ying clan, Jiang Ziyu and the other members of the Jiang clan, the Namhuang clan, and experts from the various powers in the immortal realms. Could it be that only Qin Wentian could comprehend something? At this moment, Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't know what Yingting was thinking. At this moment he was immersed in his cultivation. That blurry diagram gradually grew clearer and clearer. It was actually a human-shaped diagram. However, this human-shaped diagram gave Qin Wentian a feeling that it was as boundless as the starry skies, containing everything in the world. This human-shaped diagram seemed to be situated in the starry skies, and Qin Wentian felt that he was within it as well. At this instant, it felt like the heavens and earth were being split apart, as terrifying transformations were occurring within his body. The true God's hand isn't a palm imprint art. It's a supreme ultimate art that encompasses everything in the world. It can activate the terrifying might of his immortal body, allowing Wuxiu to reach his strongest state, using his palms to unleash overwhelming might. Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. Regardless of palm arts, spear arts or halberd arts, as long as they were used, they would all be considered God's hand. He thought back to the scene shown to him by the ancestral phoenix. Ancient emperor used a single palm strike to kill Wuxiu from an extremely far distance away. That palm strike could penetrate through space, and that was a spatial innate technique that was unleashed using the power of God's hand. God's hand is an ultimate art of the 10,000 arts, a truly supremely powerful innate technique. Qin Wentian was enlightened. Emperor Yu had imparted God's hand to everyone, but Qin Wentian could faintly sense that the inheritance he obtained from ancient Emperor Yi in the city of ancient emperors was prepared specifically for him. Although the God's hand he comprehended was merely the foundation, without this step, he wouldn't be able to comprehend the true God's hand. Qin Wentian sensed the boundlessly vast and profound secret art. Boundless transformations occurred in his body, as the immortal light radiating from him grew even more intense. An aura that surpassed his cultivation base gushed forth, causing many to turn their gazes to him as shock could be seen on their faces. What's going on? The eyes of everyone flashed. Yingting's expression was extremely unsightly to behold. Among us, only he has cultivated God's hand before. The possibility of him comprehending this ultimate art is the highest. Zhang Ziyu stood up as he spoke. He stared at Qin Wentian, his eyes flickering. He had to bring this young man to the Jiang clan no matter what. Many people gathered here. When they saw this scene, Namhuang Yunxi, Jun Mengchen and the others stood in front of Qin Wentian as they stared warily at the crowd. Rumble. At this instant the ancient mountain trembled as the gigantic palm in front of them trembled, causing the crowd to stare in shock. After which, rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly as the center of the gigantic palm actually started to shatter. Boundless light radiated from within, and with a thunderous boom, the center of the palm shattered. The crowd hurriedly raised their hands to block, but a powerful beam of light shot forth. The crowd slowly shifted their palms away and stared ahead, feeling their hearts pounding. Inside this ancient mountain there was a completely different world. There was actually a separate space. Also, this place was no longer a desolate ancient mountain. There seemed to be people living here before. This was left behind by ancient Emperor Yi. A shocking thought flashed through the hearts of everyone as their hearts pounded. Was this really the place where ancient Emperor Yi resided in? What did ancient Emperor Yi leave behind here? Chapter 1072. When everyone stepped into the space within the palm print, their footsteps immediately slowed down. This space was very big, and they could feel a suffocating pressure enveloping their bodies. That kind of feeling seemed to be able to easily annihilate all of them if that aura were to erupt. A mysterious rhythm descended, as if someone was breathing. With each breath they could feel their hearts pounding. Their blood flowed crazily in their bodies, and their eyes kept looking around. This space was extremely ancient and had a sense of desolation, as though it had been sealed for countless years. They followed the ancient path and that feeling grew increasingly intense. Felt as though they were getting closer. That mountain. Someone stared at a stone mountain in front of them. This stone mountain had a unique shape and it looked like a demonic beast. It blocked the path in front of them and the powerful aura came from that direction. Their steps gradually halted as they stared fixedly ahead. That feeling grew increasingly intense, breathing in and out. Their hearts pounded unceasingly. At this moment, rocks started to roll down from the top of the stone mountain. Abruptly, a terrifying pressure bore down on them as rocks tumbled down unceasingly. At the head of the stone mountain, the rolling rocks gradually formed into a human face. It was extremely ferocious, like the face of a god of death in the mortal world. It was like a human yet also like a demon. Its eyes were closed and terrifying fangs could be seen exhaling air currents, causing a demonic wind to blast onto the bodies of everyone, causing their backs to be drenched in cold sweat. This incomparably gigantic demonic beast was the size of a mountain. Just the breath it exhaled caused their hearts to pound wildly. It was as though a single breath from it could annihilate all of them. Nobody dared to wake it up. Everyone was extremely cautious as they slowed their breathing, afraid that they would disturb this terrifying existence that was in slumber. Everyone stared at each other, feeling the pressure on their bodies. This demonic beast was simply too gigantic, akin to an incomparably gigantic mountain, blocking their path. It was as though this demonic beast was the guardian of this place. What should we do? Someone transmitted their voiceover. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Since they have already arrived here, it was impossible for them to give up. In addition, this place was left behind by ancient Emperor Yi, and he was the one who broke through the palm imprint to enter. He didn't think that it was possible that ancient Emperor Yi lured him here just to kill him, right? Since ancient Emperor Yi left behind this ancient mountain, it meant that he wanted to find a successor. There was no reason for ancient Emperor Yi to kill him. As he thought of this, Qin Wentian lifted his foot and continued forward. The eyes of the crowd flickered as they stared at Qin Wentian. After which, there were people who took the lead and also stepped out. The crowd continued on their way with extreme caution, and when they arrived at the foot of the gigantic stone mountain, they felt as though they were about to suffocate. That gigantic stone mountain exuded a terrifying pressure, even when it was sleeping. Every breath it took caused their hearts to tremble, and the pressure grew increasingly intense. Some people couldn't walk anymore, not daring to continue forward. As they looked at the enormous vicious face that was gradually getting closer, they truly felt like they were suffocating. Phew! A terrifying breath was spat out, with residual warmth. Pooh! Because one of them was too nervous, his footsteps made loud noises, causing the others to be even more frightened. They all stopped and glanced at the greater demon. Only when they saw that the greater demon had no reaction did they heave a sigh of relief. At this moment, Qin Wentian had already arrived below the head of the greater demon, and was preparing to bypass it. Rumbling sounds rang out as rocks from the top of the stone mountain tumbled down unceasingly. With every breath it took, the suffocating pressure grew even stronger. A pair of incomparably large eyes opened, gleaming with a terrifying light as it stared at the crowd. At this instant, everyone was dumbfounded as they stared at the pair of eyes. Even if all of them were added together, they would only be as big as the eyes of the greater demon. Qin Wentian was also stunned for a moment as he stared at the pair of cold eyes. Rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly as the gigantic body of the greater demon moved, causing the stone mountain to crumble. A greater demon with a human face appeared before their eyes, exuding a fiendish aura, akin to a true primordial god of death. This was an ancient ferocious beast, the greater demon, the Bai-en. These juniors have disturbed seniors' rest. We beg for seniors' forgiveness. Ingting from the Ing clan reacted very quickly as he bowed slightly to the greater demon. The greater demon, the Bai-en, was still breathing as it stared at the crowd. Many of them were already drenched in sweat. They felt that as long as the greater demon willed it, it would be able to slap all of them to death with a single swipe of its claws. Why are there so many of you? A thunderous voice rang out from the mouth of the greater demon, the Bai-en. This voice was like a bolt of heavenly thunder, vibrating the eardrums of everyone, causing their bodies to tremble. Even their internal organs were trembling. These juniors knew that ancient Emperor Yi had left behind an inheritance here, so we paid a visit to Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu told us to enter the ancient mountain to search for the inheritance, and after that, we entered this place. Ingting replied, but he didn't say that they came here because of Qin Wentian. Let's enter. The greater demon spoke again. After that, rumbling sounds echoed out as it slowly laid down on the ground, continuing its slumber, completely ignoring everyone. This caused the crowd to heave a sigh of relief. Qin Wentian and the others walked past the greater demon, continuing their advance. The air was filled with an ancient aura, and the place that appeared before them did indeed seem to be a place where humans resided. They halted their steps once more, staring at the empty immortal palace before them. This was an incomparably majestic immortal palace. The major characters of the immortal realms had already reached a certain cultivation realm, and had the qualifications to enjoy life. They naturally wouldn't allow themselves to live too shabbily and would have their own immortal palaces for themselves, their descendants and even their clan members to reside in. Was this immortal palace before them the place where ancient Emperor Yi resided in those years ago? They followed the staircase in the center, moving towards the immortal palace step by step. Their hearts were filled with a sense of pilgrimage, thinking in their hearts that if they could become the master of this immortal palace, how good would that be? Were the treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi all within? However, everyone was soon disappointed. The immortal palace was completely empty. They couldn't find anything. Although the immortal palace itself was constructed from extremely valuable materials, it was impossible for them to move it away. In addition, there was still a greater demon guarding the place outside. Who would dare to act recklessly? As they moved deeper into the immortal palace, another terrifying aura gushed over. They continued forward and finally they saw a shocking scene. Before them, there was actually a golden figure. This golden figure was illusory and incomparably gigantic, towering up into the skies, akin to a divinity. The divine charm contained within it caused everyone to feel terror when they glanced at it. And behind this gigantic figure, there were numerous bronze gates. Each gate was incomparably gigantic, as though they had existed here since ancient times. As for what was behind these bronze gates exactly, were these the treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi? What made everyone feel despair was that beside each of the bronze gates, there was a greater demon guarding them. These ancient greater demons seemed to be in deep slumber. They have been here for far too many years. The heartbeats of the crowd quickened. Ancient Emperor Yi, not only did he leave his inheritance here, he even left behind his treasures. Was he leaving them for his successor? In that case, what Emperor Yi was protecting wasn't merely the god's hand but everything left behind by ancient Emperor Yi as well. Ancient Emperor Yi was once the immortal realm's king. It was simply unimaginable how terrifying his treasures were. At this moment, many people had already forgotten about God's hand. In their eyes, there were only the bronze gates and the treasures left behind by ancient Emperor Yi. Compared to the illusory ultimate art, the treasures were much more realistic. The silhouettes of many people flickered, passing by the golden giant and arriving before the bronze gates. Boom boom. The great demons guarding the 3 bronze gates opened their eyes at the same time. A suffocating pressure directly pressed down on everyone, forcing them to prostrate themselves on the ground. They raised their heads with great difficulty and shouted, "We juniors are allowed to enter by Emperor Yu. Senior, please show mercy." The pressure gradually weakened. Only then did everyone stand up. Those greater demons closed their eyes, not even bothering to glance at them. They walked to the front of the bronze gate and exerted force, wanting to push it open. However, they discovered that they couldn't budge it at all. Qin Wentian didn't move together with the others. He walked step by step towards the picture of the golden giant. The energy in his body circulated and with a single step, he arrived in front of the picture. In an instant, an ancient might bore down on him, blasting into his body, causing his bones to emit cracking sounds. With a groan of misery, he coughed out a mouthful of blood as his countenance turned pale. This is the true God's hand. Qin Wentian stared at the golden human-shaped diagram in front of him. With just a single glance he could sense that this was the true God's hand, containing everything within it. That illusory human-shaped diagram seemed to be a real existence. The might radiating from it was akin to that of an ancient existence, so terrifying. Qin Wentian walked towards the golden figure as the energy in his body circulated frenziedly. The power of his saint-grade immortal foundation was unleashed to the limits as the light from the golden figure flowed unceasingly into Qin Wentian. Every strand of energy was sufficient to make Qin Wentian feel the might of a death god. This. Nam Huang Yunqi stared at Qin Wentian's actions as a bright light flashed in her eyes. Seems like he is really going to succeed in cultivating an ultimate art. Only he has a chance to cultivate ancient Emperor Yi's God's hand. Nan Fengshenga smiled. Emperor Yi was only guarding this place under the orders of ancient Emperor Yi, waiting for his successor? It's not so simple. He seems to be under immense pressure. Nam Huang Yunqi was somewhat worried. The cultivation of God's hand naturally wouldn't be so simple. Nan Fengshenga spoke in a light voice. Purgatory and Jun Mengchen were also staring at Qin Wentian. At this moment Jiang Ziyu also stepped out. His eyes gleamed with a terrifying light, as though he wanted to see through everything, including the golden figure. He walked forward step by step as the energy in his body circulated. A powerful might gushed forth from him, causing the eyes of Nam Huang Yunqi and Nan Fengshenga to flash. This fellow was so powerful. Boom! A fearsome might erupted forth. Jiang Ziyu coughed out a mouthful of blood as his body was flung through the air. The expressions of the people from the Jiang clan drastically changed as they hurriedly retreated. What a terrifying might! Jun Mengchen stared in that direction. If Qin Wentian was the slightest bit careless, he would surely be in danger. Chapter 1073. After Jiang Ziyu was injured, he returned. He inclined his head and stared at the golden human-shaped diagram, as an intense trepidation could be seen in his mysterious eyes. This diagram was the one that truly contained a shocking divine essence, terrifying to the extreme. Qin Wentian was still standing there. He felt as though he had already fallen into a trance. From the human-shaped diagram he could see a real body. This human-shaped body was akin to a divinity. The divine aura contained within the body had the power to destroy him. He was enveloped by boundless light as his body unceasingly trembled violently. It felt as though his body would shatter into pieces at any moment, causing him to die. Those who walked towards the bronze gate used all sorts of methods, yet they had no way to shake it. They discovered that on the surface of the bronze gate, there seemed to be a gigantic palm inscribed with incomparably complicated diagrams, mysterious and unfathomable. They had no way to see through them. Could it be that only by cultivating the ultimate art of ancient Emperor God's hand, would one be able to open the bronze gate and obtain the treasures of ancient Emperor Yingting spoke. The eyes of everyone flashed as they turned their gazes to Qin Wentian. Seems like that gigantic human-shaped diagram was the secret art of God's hand. Qin Wentian might be able to cultivate God's hand and open the gate to the treasures. Ying Tong and the others walked over, arriving before the gigantic golden human-shaped diagram. After that, numerous experts stepped out simultaneously. However, some of them only managed to take a few steps before they were forced back by the shockwaves. A scream of agony rang out. There was one person who didn't give up even when he couldn't hold on any longer, continuing forward. His body was actually shattered as his immortal foundation was destroyed. He fell to the ground. His countenance was ashen as he screamed in agony. Such a scene caused everyone to stare at him in shock. After that, when they inclined their heads and stared at the golden diagram, their gazes were filled with reverence. After that, more and more experts arrived. It was because Qin Wentian had opened the gate to the five-fingered mountain. Without any obstructions, they could proceed forward smoothly. When they saw the greater demon as well as the immortal palace, they were all incomparably shocked. So it turned out that the immortal palace of ancient Emperor Yi was hidden in the depths of the ancient mountain. No wonder an immortal emperor like Emperor Yi was assigned to guard this place for so many years. Yingting also failed in his attempt. He was injured from the impact, and there seemed to be a destructive energy wreaking havoc in his body, wanting to destroy his immortal foundation. This made Yingting understand that without his previous foundation, it was impossible for him to get close to the golden body diagram. It was impossible for him to succeed in cultivating God's hand. There was only one person who had this chance, and that person was none other than Qin Wentian. From the moment Qin Wentian broke through the ancient gate, it was already destined that only Qin Wentian would have a chance. The various experts all realized this point. For the inheritance of ancient Emperor Yi, they were merely a foil to Qin Wentian. Why is it like this? A descendant of an immortal emperor spoke, feeling reluctance in his heart. Because he has already cultivated God's hand before. Emperor Yu opened the ancient mountain for him. Kong Yi coldly spoke, similarly unwilling to accept this. If I had the good fortune to encounter God's hand in the city of ancient emperors, I would also be able to cultivate it. Sadly, my luck isn't on my side. Yingting's eyes gleamed with sharpness as he stared at Qin Wentian. Without the foundation of God's hand, he wouldn't have any advantage over us. Excuses. When Jun Mengchen heard these people complaining about Qin Wentian's luck, he couldn't help but feel extremely unhappy in his heart. He then spoke, "You guys should have been to the city of ancient emperors before. The palace left behind by ancient emperor Yi wasn't discovered by my senior brother Qin Wentian. It has long been discovered by others, but no one has been able to enter. So many people in the past failed to do so, yet you guys are saying that those who succeeded can only be attributed to luck? How ridiculous. When I was here, I didn't know that there was a palace left behind by ancient Emperor Yi in the city of ancient emperors." Yingting coldly spoke. Do we have to tell you that that palace is the location of ancient Emperor Yi's palace before telling you how to enter? Only when the God's hand is in your hands would you be able to obtain it. Jun Mengchen spoke. The immortal realms are so vast. There are many inheritances and treasures. Only a minority of people managed to obtain them, and many of them became experts. As for those who didn't manage to obtain the God's hand, Don't you want to say that those experts were only lucky? Who the hell do you think you are? You dare to speak to me like this? Ingting stepped out, causing the earth to rumble. A terrifying king's aura gushed forth, blasting towards Jun Mengchen, causing Jun Mengchen's body to tremble. Who the hell do you think you are? Jun Mengchen always had a fiery temper, while Ingting was extremely arrogant. The moment the two of them collided, a flame instantly ignited in their hearts. Ingting, what are you doing? Nam Huang Yunqi stepped out as phoenix flames blazed around her, exuding terrifying immortal might. Nam Huang Yunqi, others might be afraid of you but my Ying clan doesn't. You better not be a busybody. Ingting coldly spoke, exuding an aura of arrogance. Do you think that my Nam Huang clan is afraid of your Ying clan? Nam Huang Yunqi replied, not retreating an inch. Ingting coldly laughed. He stared at Nam Huang Yunqi and spoke, everyone, how about we deal with the Nam Huang clan together? Since you guys don't dare to injure them, just leave them to my Ying clan. Coincidentally, I still want to capture a holy successor of the Nam Huang clan to serve me every day. There's also a beautiful holy successor here. It wouldn't be too bad if she could warm my bed for me. The eyes of everyone flashed. This fellow Ingting was truly audacious. At this moment, the expressions of the Nam Huang clan turned cold as their battle intent gushed forth. After we deal with the Nam Huang clan, we will wait for that fellow to cultivate God's hand. At that time, we will control him tightly and get him to bring us into the Bronze Gate to obtain the treasures. At least we wouldn't have wasted our trip here. Ingting continued. Everyone instantly understood his intentions. This was Ingting's true purpose. So many experts came here just to accompany Qin Wentian in cultivating God's hand? Ingting of the Ying clan was clearly unhappy. In that case, so what if Qin Wentian cultivated God's hand? After dealing with the Nam Huang clan, Qin Wentian would still be enslaved by him. As for capturing Nam Huang Yunqi to serve him, that was most probably just an impudent statement by this fellow Ingting. Although the Ying clan was very arrogant, they wouldn't dare to be so brazen. As long as the people from the Nam Huang clan don't interfere, they wouldn't act against the holy maidens. At this moment a voice rang out. Evidently, the people from the other powers weren't willing to offend the Nam Huang clan. They didn't dare to take the initiative to say that they would join forces to deal with the Nam Huang clan. Haha, it's fine. If the Nam Huang clan interferes, my Ying clan will be responsible for dealing with them. You guys only need to deal with that fellow. Is the Jiang clan interested in joining forces? Ingting stared at Jiang Ziyu as he spoke. Jiang Ziyu merely smiled at Ingting but didn't say anything. It's fine even if the Jiang clan doesn't have the guts to participate. Ingting flicked his sleeves as he spoke in arrogance. The people from the Ying clan and the Nam Huang clan already stood in their positions, facing each other. Qin Wentian had no idea what was happening in the outside world. He walked step by step towards the golden human-shaped diagram, and it was as though he could see another body within it. That body was guiding his body, causing it to undergo a startling transformation. But even so, his body was still on the verge of shattering, unable to endure the pressure. However, at this moment, the candle-like power of his bloodline started to circulate, restoring his body. Every time it circulated through his body, it would cause his body to undergo a transformation, becoming more compatible with the golden human-shaped diagram in front of him. He had the Fiend God body refinement art and his physique was already extremely tyrannical. For ordinary first-level Immortal Foundation characters, he would be able to explode them with a single punch. Even if his opponent attacked him, they wouldn't be able to do anything to him. He had a perfect Immortal Foundation and the Fiend God body refinement art. His physique was close to perfection, allowing him to have the qualifications to cultivate God's hand. But this complete version of God's hand seemed to be able to cleanse his body once more, merging with his bloodline to reforge his physique. If his body underwent another transformation this time around, it would be extremely difficult to find someone with a physique stronger than his in the vast immortal realms. However, such a baptism wasn't easy. Qin Wentian advanced extremely slowly. That faintly discernible body was simply too terrifying, capable of destroying everything. He faintly sensed that if that divine essence erupted forth, even immortal emperors wouldn't be able to endure it. He had a feeling that this immortal palace, as well as the divine essence of the ancient mountain outside, were all born from the gigantic human-shaped diagram in front of him. Although it was located here, it radiated boundless light, causing this mysterious ancient mountain to have its own divine essence. Once immortal emperors stepped foot here, they would be able to directly sense that supremely powerful divine essence. The reason why they could reach here was because their cultivation bases were weak. Naturally, Qin Wentian believed that if there were truly supremely powerful characters, even if they were immortal kings or immortal emperors, as long as they could borrow the power of God's hand to sense the divine essence, they would also be able to enter the ancient mountain. It was just that no one could do this. The situation outside was still the same. Qin Wentian was immersed in his cultivation. In fact, it was extremely difficult for others to even get close to Qin Wentian. Behind him, Zidi and the experts from the Dongshengshan Gate also arrived. Their eyes flashed with killing intent when they stared at the experts from the Namhuang clan and the Dongshengshan Gate. Naturally, when they stared at Qin Wentian, the killing intent in their eyes grew even more intense. Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu had both died. They found their tattered robes and traces of blood, but there was no sign of their corpses. They also saw the bronze-masked young man, but he had an extremely powerful sealing treasure which allowed him to escape. The death of Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu was simply a nightmare to them. If they exited the ancient mountain, they might have to face the wrath of Dongxing Heaven Emperor and Zidi. All of this was because of Qin Wentian, the Namhuang clan and the immortal Qinbian Gate. If it wasn't for these people, Dong Shengting and Zi Yunwu wouldn't have died. You guys want to kill him? Yingting pointed to Qin Wentian. Yes. Everyone nodded. We will give you guys a chance. But before he opens the treasure vault, no one is allowed to take his life. His life is extremely useful. Yingting coldly spoke. He didn't treat Qin Wentian as the inheritor of the secret art, but as the key to opening the treasure vault of ancient Emperor Yi. So what if Qin Wentian comprehended the secret art? In the end, Qin Wentian could only be used by Yingting.